Good evening. It is October 27th, 2022, 7:00 p.m. We are calling to order the Needham Conservation Commission. As a preliminary matter, my name is Janet Bernardo. I am the Conservation Commission Chair. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated, well, staff are present. You're going to change this. Okay, Sue.
Present.
Dave.
Present.
Allison. Peter.
Here.
And then we have staff Debbie,
Here.
Clay.
Here.
Great. And everybody else will call you in when we get to you. Good evening. This open meeting of the Town of Needham Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. Meeting materials, all supporting materials have been provided to members of this board and are available on the Conservation Commission website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each hearing on the agenda. I will introduce the applicant and/or their consultant to begin their project presentation. After they conclude their presentation, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment or questions. Please hold your name until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and please state your name before speaking. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Okay. First thing on the agenda, we're going to take other business quickly for the DPW maintenance activity notification form, DEP file number 234630, the Maple Street drainage culvert maintenance. Maple Street drainage culvert maintenance. Okay, well, Mike, you want to introduce yourself and state your case?
Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Retsky. I'm the superintendent for the Needham DPW Water, Sewer, and Drain Division. This evening, we'll be talking about Maple Street culverts that we'd like to clean between Maple Street and Linden Street. So, Clay, did you want to put up that map or what we're going to do here? Here we go. All right, we have 3 locations, which I've labeled on the map, Section A, Section B, and Section C, that we're looking to clean out the culverts and cut some brush that are overgrown in there. This is our basic general maintenance culvert cleaning work that we do. We have a contractor, Mark Neves, M. Neves Construction. They'll be coming in to do this. The work will be done by hand. They'll go in there with a handful of guys or people, and they'll go in there and they'll cut the brush, some invasives, and remove any debris that's within the channel of the area shown. Again, Section A, B, and C. So those 3 areas are open channel flow. Where you see the green, that's all pipe, closed pipe. That pipe has been flushed and cleaned out already by Needham DPW forces to ensure that we have good flow through.
Hello, this is Artie, Chain Engineering. I am on the Zoom call.
Artie, mute yourself. Well, thank you.
And
Going.
yeah. So we'll come in and clean out those channels, and again, what's adjacent to it and whatever's blocking the channels. We do have debris in there, old logs, sticks, leaves, and some minor sediment that we want to pull out and take care of that. Eventually, the walls and some of the other areas will need repair. That's a bigger project that will go forth as a capital improvement rather than our general maintenance, brooks, and cleaning culvert projects. So that basically sums it up. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask.
So you're basically going into the culverts with your guys and either shoveling any excess sediment that has kind of accumulated or removing brush that's in the walled sections of the channels.
Yeah, and adjacent, 2 or 3 feet, to those, walls and channels. So, any large trees and that will not be removed at this point. Again, from our walkthroughs, our numerous walkthroughs on that area, as we know, we have trees growing up. The walls are old masonry walls that are starting to fail. They will need repair in the future. And we want to make sure when we do that in a thoughtful manner. And we do it based on
Oops, we can't hear you anymore for some reason.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, thoughtful manner.
Yep, a thoughtful manner, and we're gonna do it following a plan that we're gonna put together with a stormwater drainage master plan that we have on our so that we could see what each of these areas are gonna take, prioritize them, come in and take care of this. This issue came up, just so everybody knows, it came up last year before I was in this position. And we're trying to get in there to prevent any flooding to the houses at the on Maple Street that back up to this section B culvert, section A culvert. So we want to make sure we're not having any flooding issues in there because the culverts and the drainage swales aren't clean and flowing correctly.
Do we have any photos of this area?
Yes, I had submitted an email with all the photos of the areas and all sections were listed there. So
Great.
this is section A, if I could, yeah, these are all section A.
Okay, so just hold on to this one for 1 second. So this is section A, and you're gonna be removing some of these vines that are coming into it, as well as some of the small saplings that are right on the edge.
Correct. The stuff
Okay.
on the right-hand side there, on the left-hand side, the small saplings. And there are some invasives in there, so we'll cut those. We're just cutting flush. We're not gonna be removing root systems or doing any of that at this point. We're just gonna clear it out to make sure that these brooks stay open and these channels stay open for flow.
Great. Any more photos?
Oh, yeah, we got plenty. You can see how this looks in this one photo down below. It's just debris that's built up there. We're gonna clean that out, make sure that that's all gone.
Oh, this big pile of stuff at the front is just literally inside the channel?
Correct,
Okay, we'll get rid of that. This is still section A?
correct.
Okay.
Now I think have we moved to section B? I think we have
Okay,
the section B, I believe, if I could, it's so small, I just can't see it.
oh. They look kind of similar,
Right,
but so there's still like vegetation on the edges that will also
Yeah.
come out, but nothing larger than 3 inches?
probably 4, 4 inches at the largest.
And and within 3 feet of the edge of the wall?
Correct.
And
So
this
this
is part
is
of
in-
our general maintenance. This is still section B
Yep.
or?
This is section B still, yes.
Okay,
This is the area behind Maple Street that abuts the Needham Housing Authority property. So
Okay.
there's an easement through here that's approximately 20 feet wide. So we're not gonna clear that whole 20. We're just gonna clear, like I said, 3 to 4 feet either side to make
and is
sure.
this some of the sediment that's gonna be shoveled out, or is this just happen to be the bottom that we can see?
That's the bottom of it you see there. Well, I'm sorry, no, on the left-hand side is the sediment. That's some of the sediment we're gonna remove because we could see it starting to erode on the right-hand side of this photo because the sediments come into here and it's pushing the water to the other side. So we want to make
So
sure
as long as it's less than 100
it
cubic
will be,
feet, is that true?
Yeah.
They can do it under this notification.
Okay, 100 cubic feet, okay. Okay. Anything else? Any more?
Yeah, I was just gonna quickly
We're
note
on-
we're section C now.
see now, yes.
Oh, okay, this is section C, okay.
Yeah.
So
So
anything
some-
that's crossing over.
Some of these residents, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, how far you've been back in here, but some of these residents have put these walkways across here, and some of them are walking in the back and dumping their leaves over on the other side.
Oh, we don't want them to
No.
do that.
Right, exactly. So I will take those out as I go through there. I don't think they'll be happy, but hey,
Well, then they have flooding, so. Okay. Anybody else, any comment about any of that work? Any concerns? Do we need to?
I have a quick question.
Yep.
Is the bottom paved?
Is the
Well,
bottom of
it's-
the channel paved? Or is it dirt?
I don't know. I think it's dirt.
Okay.
Anything else, anybody? So I guess I should go through the commission. Sue, any comments or questions?
No,
Allison, anything else?
No.
Peter?
No.
Dave?
No, it looks like it needs to be done.
Is this, so as the general maintenance, do we, need to vote on this, or is this just a notifying us that this is happening?
I think you usually just vote to approve it.
Okay, so I'll take a motion. If there's no more questions, do we have to, so I guess we could see if there's anybody in the audience that has anything to ask, any
You
questions?
could.
I guess, well, so let's consider, anybody in the audience have any questions?
There are no hands raised.
All right, so if this is okay with everybody, take a motion to approve the maintenance activity for under DEP file number 234630.
I move that you consider.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
a second.
Thank you. All in favor? Sue,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Janet, aye. Great. Thank you very much for coming in, Mike.
Thank you very much. Thank
When
you
are
all.
you doing this, by the way? When are
Uh,
you doing
we're
this work?
We're gonna try to get it done this month in November.
Great.
For the upcoming month, we're not quite there yet, but yes, in November.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Alrighty. Thank you. We'll keep everybody informed. Thanks a
All
lot.
right,
Thanks.
thanks. All right, we will go to 64 High Rock Street, a request for determination of applicability. My understanding is we going to open this and continue it because we can talk about it. Is that true? We can't even,
So open it. I think you should probably open it, continue it, and then just use a discussion after that.
okay, because the abutters were not properly notified, is my understanding. So we will discuss it. We were gonna discuss it because most of this work is outside of our jurisdiction. So we just want to be able to talk to the applicant about the work that is outside of our jurisdiction. So that's the discussion part. So the work that's within our jurisdiction, we're gonna actually continue to our next hearing. So who is here to represent 64 High Rock Street?
I am. How you doing? Derek
Good.
Dupre, DT and Sons Construction. Nice to see you folks.
Thanks. What can you tell us?
Basically, it's it's like we said, 64 High Rock Street. It's an existing single family that we're going to be raising, building a new construction in its stead. I guess the northeast corner is a small portion of the 100-foot buffer zone. We had AES and Russ Waldron do our flagging from an adjacent property down the street or across the street. Basically, it's existing lawn area. It's going to remain existing lawn area after the construction. And, 95 to 99% of the properties outside of the zone anyway. And, we'll put up whatever erosion controls necessary along the area and move forward, essentially.
Okay, Clay, do you have a plan for this that you could pull up? So if you could zoom in, are you able to zoom in on the area that is within our jurisdiction? So it's just this bottom corner.
That's correct.
So because, so you're actually going to do work there? You need to change that and grade it or something?
Basically, the grades are staying the same on the property. You know, it's the neighbor's a little bit lower, so we can't really be building up any, you know, as it is. So we're just basically, it has you know, a minor sloping grade from right to left on the property. So we're just gonna be, after the construction, relooming it, seeding it, and basically what you see is what you get.
This is the existing, right?
That's the existing conditions, correct?
Okay, so here's proposed. So it's basically the same, like, in reality, if you didn't change that, you're just gonna reseed it or something? Because if you didn't change it at all, you didn't have to come to us.
Yeah, we kind of went a little bit back and forth. I mean, there's gonna be some, obviously, you know, on a construction site, minor regrading, looming, things like that, but
Okay.
nothing substantial.
Okay, so have you put up erosion controls along this 100-foot buffer line?
Yeah, we did them the other day.
Because you can, build the house and do all the grading and if, and then come back to us next week. But, so if your erosion controls are along that line, at
Yep.
some point, when will you move them? To do the grading within it at like the very end after the house is built and.
Yeah,
then
I'm
you gotta
talking
do the
probably,
site?
yeah, sometime, you know,
Okay.
not anytime soon, that's for sure. We just got to get moving for the winter and stuff like that, and then figure out the grading come springtime.
Okay, so when you come back, if you're coming back to us in 2 weeks to talk about this with any neighbors that may appear, you just want to be able to tell them when that might happen, which it
Certainly.
might be next spring is when you were gonna like regrade the lawn and
Yeah,
reseed
sure.
it, whatever. So just be prepared to explain that, but any work that's outside of that 100-foot buffer line and outside of our jurisdiction, you are free to work with and then we'll talk about it in an official meeting in 2 weeks. Is that the plan? Which our meeting is in November 17th at 7 PM. Is
Correct.
that fine for you to come back that day?
I'll make anything work, absolutely. So the November 17th, 7 PM sounds good. The what was my question there?
The notification form,
Yes,
you can contact Clay tomorrow if you want. He'll be in the office and he can direct you to the correct form that you're gonna
Perfect.
notify with.
perfect. So I can get those out, you know, between, you know, tomorrow and early next week, and we should be all set.
Yeah, what's the timing that they have to be notified 2 weeks ahead or 1 week ahead?
Yeah, 7 days.
7 days ahead. So for November 17th, they have to be notified before November 10th.
Yeah,
like a
I think it's 7 working days.
Seven
So,
working, so 7 business days, so.
yes,
you can
business.
Figure out the math.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
All right.
and if something happens and you cannot, just let us know and we'll take you off of the agenda, but we'll plan on seeing you on November 17th with all of the neighbors
Great,
in attendance.
excellent.
So
Great.
vote to continue it now.
Yeah, so Clay, you could take that down. Yes, can I have I'm still like kind of confused that we were supposed to open it, but anyway. Can I have a motion to continue the hearing for 64 High Rock Street for a request for determination of applicability? to
So
November
moved.
17th? Thank you, Sue. Can I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Dave. All in favor? Allison,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Sue.
Aye.
Yeah, aye. Great. Thank you very much.
So
Thank
this
you.
is
Have a good
when
night.
you were supposed to have that discussion, just so you know.
After we voted?
Yeah,
Continue it? Oh. Whoops.
I see you looking, Clay, but that's my logic. I don't know.
I do
I
have
was,
one question. I do have one question if I still get you. Sorry about that.
Yep.
My building permit and site plans I'm sending in for actual permit, you know, coming up early next week, that can still be moved through?
Yes, as long as you don't work within our jurisdiction and you stay out of the 100-foot buffer, you're good to go.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very
Well,
much.
as long as the business building department tells you, but as far as we're concerned, yes, it's fine.
Okay, great. Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Sorry, I was confused about how we were supposed to do all that. All right, anyway, now we're at 311 Dedham Avenue, DP file number 234892. This is a continued notice of intent. Is somebody here to talk about this?
Yes, Ardich and Engineering and Saumya, the owner, he's already online.
Great, you can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear it well.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, you wanna, unfortunately, I have kind of forgotten what this one's about.
Okay, so if I can share the screen with you guys, so everyone is on the same
Yes.
page.
Okay, yep,
So what's happening is that we have an existing house. Let me see if I can show you a better picture. So here is the existing house. That's what exists on the ground right now on Dedham Avenue, number 311. We have an existing driveway that wraps around the back of the house. There is a slope on the property, so it was envisioned when they had built this house for access on the back of the property. And what we are proposing is we're going to demolish this house with the porch and water and sewer lines that it has in there, and we're proposing a new house. This will be raised, and the new house will be, we have shown the two of them overlaid with each other so you can see both of them. So the green line would show the proposed house. What we have done in order to minimize the impact on the wetlands has been that the entrance for the garage will be in the front of the house, so will be no asphalt in the back of the property. However, the size of the building is, I would say, double the size of what you have for existing house in there. What we have proposed in order to mitigate for the enlarged footprint of the building is we are proposing to infiltrate, including the 100-year storm event, for the entire roof area for the house. So this, the existing house doesn't have any infiltration that we could see of. So what we are proposing is that this would be the new footprint of the house. There is only one tree that we are proposing to remove, which is an 18-inch tree. It looks like the roots might be damaged. The owner has some pictures if the commission would like to see it. There is lawn that extends inside the 25-foot buffer. Currently, there is a ditch that is the stream for Alder Brook, so it's well-defined brook.
calling Alder Brook a ditch doesn't sound quite fair, just to say.
Well,
but-
I call this a ditch because it got walls on both sides, and on Bold we are calling like Alder Brook, just because it's not like natural brook, it's concrete on both sides. But my Albanian gets in the way sometimes.
Good.
So in any event, this would be the edge of the bank, and we got the top of slope that exists on the ground, and part of the lawn comes inside the 25-foot buffer. And as part of this project, what we're proposing to do is to use the 20-foot buffer as limit of work and mitigate. We are proposing several shrubs and 4 trees to be planted within this 25-foot buffer to enhance the protection to the river. Because we are cutting this one tree in here, we have proposed 2 new trees to be planted. I can show you on the, hold on a second. So we are saying proposed tree removal, 1 oak tree that is 18 inches, proposed 2 new 2-inch trees to compensate, proposed 4 3-inch trees inside the mitigation area. For the impervious area calculations, we have shown in here that we are recharging the roof for the entire house. So the impervious surface on the property would end up being almost negative 1,416 square feet. I did
But
talk.
so it's
to-
only negative because you're
We are
saying,
charging the entire so we provided a drainage report showing that on every storm event, we're gonna be reducing. So we are recharging the entire roof, including the 100-year storm event, into the ground. So 7 inches of water, we were, you know what I mean? So if you look at the comparison that we did before construction and after construction, on every storm event, we have reduced the amount of runoff that goes off the site toward the brook. However, for clarity purposes, because we had a comment from DEP regarding, compliance with the regulations, Deb requested that we provide the information for the impervious surface. So the existing impervious surface within a 100-foot buffer is 1,520 feet. Inside the 100-foot buffer, the impervious surface will be increased just as impervious surface without taking any credit for the recharge area, would be increased by 1,000. So the proposed impervious surface would be 2,598 square feet. When it comes down between 100 and 200, the existing impervious is 709 square feet, and the proposed impervious will be 817. So you have like 110 square feet increase between 100 and 200. Now, we looked into the we have gone through several renditions as far as the size of the house and the location of the house. We had looked into the possibility of working with the contours and making the house narrower. So we would end up having the driveway to come around and use the back of the house for access for the garage, but that entailed bringing the driveway all the way up to the 25-foot buffer and ending up having to cut the trees. So the decision was made that the easiest thing to do would be keep the house so that we are in compliance with the zoning setbacks as far as how far we would be from the property line, from the street line, but at the same time, put two drainage fields in front and at the back to pick up the roof runoff. We have shown in here the setbacks for the building setback requirements. So as you can see, we cannot move the building any closer toward the front because the requirement is that we have to have, when you have a front loading garage in Needham, we got to stay another 5 feet more further away from the property line. So it ends up being 25 feet, the setback. So we have brought the house as close to the front setback as possible. And when all is said, doing this mitigation and we to step beyond, since the conservation typically requires that we put monumentation to kind of know to the future owners that, this is kind of no touch zone. We propose the 2 bounds with a sign on each that's going to be on the 25-foot buffer. We're trying to be as proactive as possible because as you can, and we already staked the property line on the ground, and the owner has been trying to start this project sooner rather than later. So if there is anything that we can do to provide to the commission to facilitate the approval, we would be happy to do it.
okay. You're finished with your presentation?
That's correct.
Thank you. I'll just go through the commission, see if anybody has any comments at this moment. Sue, you have anything?
Yeah. The infiltration system, how far away is that from the 25-foot?
1 second. We would be another foot maybe away, 26 feet away from the wetlands. Instead of 25, it's going to be 26.
And then,
So
I'm sorry.
we moved it a little bit so to allow like a foot for the erosion control barrier to be in the 25-foot buffer. And then after the erosion control barrier, that's where you would put the septic system, the drainage field. And we provided the commission with a report from George that he checked the soils and he didn't see any problems with the soils on the site. He didn't go too deep, but he felt that that wouldn't be a problem. And there is a report that was attached to the notice of intent.
And a second question would be, was there lawn there originally within the 25-foot?
That's correct. Yeah, and what we have shown is that the lawn went inside the 25-foot buffer. Part of this application would be that we will take off or we would restore that area and use the 25-foot as revegetate that area with kind of with a native plants and with conservation mix. So the 25-foot will be enhanced.
Can I ask a quick question about that? I'm sorry, Sue.
That's
Um,
fine.
So you don't have on your plan where the existing trees are and everything in the 25-foot?
We didn't locate, so originally we were not planning to cut any of the trees.
Yeah.
But it ended up because of one tree cut. I can show you. But we
No,
didn't-
I just kind of confused about where the mitigation plantings are going in relation to the existing trees. Are they going in front of those?
I would think that we're gonna be working around the existing trees. As you can see, we've got Karen went on the site and she picked up 4 locations for the new. And as far as the low bush blueberries, we planning on putting them around the existing trees.
All right, because there's a pretty good canopy back there right now, so.
We thought that it wouldn't hurt adding more, but you know.
No, thank you. I just needed that clarification.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt.
Sue, anything more from you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you.
Allison?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, I have 3. To follow up
Yep.
on Sue's question, I think it would be really helpful if we did have the existing trees located in the 25, between the 25 and the wetland, to see if the way you've located the new plantings will really work. That's one thing. The second thing is, I was trying to figure out what you did, if anything, with the 17-foot and 18-foot contour in the back of the yard from the house back. I can see that you've modified to make kind of little swales go down the hill, right, that are right off the house. But then once you're past the house, you just have the existing contours. And I'm wondering, are you really going to install the patio? You don't show any new contours from the house down. You just show the existing 18 and the existing 17. And are you really going to have the patio, you know, what are the elevations of that? Are you filling? And the infiltration basin that's right on the edge of the 25, is that really going to be like kind of on a slope? I mean, I think if you plan on doing any grading from that 25 to the house, I want to see what it is.
Yeah, so maybe that didn't make enough justice. Let me show you in.
But you don't show any new grades on that plan that you just had up from the house down.
So if you can hear me, in this scenario,
I
I'm
can,
showing the
there's somebody
existing
else
condition.
on though. I don't know what's going on. Led you. I don't know.
Can you hear
who
me
else
now?
is- Yeah, that's better.
Okay, so what's happening is that you can see on the back in here, the top of, so I'm showing you the existing conditions as kind of to have like a starting point. We have elevation 218 is all around it here, and then we go to elevation 217, and so 218, 217.
Oh,
Yeah,
one.
117, 118,
Yeah, I
is-
know that those aren't
is the
shown as
slope.
being changed
yes.
at all in the
So-
plan.
And what we are proposing is we are not changing the grade over there. So on the outside, we're going to be at elevation 118.
But the 118, but you see, I see the 118, the existing 118. You have you're changing it into the bottom. right
Yes,
hand.
yes. So if you look at 118,
Yes, I see that. But then
it's going
what
to go to
happens
the
to
corner of the building.
Yes, but then what happens to the 118 that's existing? Are you filling in there? Or
Well,
you,
it's
or you
one,
cutting?
118 and a half. We're keeping the 118. The 118 will go to the back of the building. We're not filling anything. We leave this area
Yeah,
as it
but
is right
I
now.
see the 118. You see the deck where it says deck? Right to the left of that, yeah, that. Are you doing anything with what you just highlighted in the back of
So-
the yard?
I am making it, no, we're trying to leave the soil as is.
All right, you're not regrading for the patio.
not
The patio is land wherever it is.
We're
And
keeping it at
you're gonna have
118.
the-
That's correct.
Okay.
So the patio in here, so if you look in here, this is 118 at the corner of the
I
wall.
know what I'm looking at.
So
I
you,
just
you are
asked
looking at,
simply-
no, we are not planning to change the grade on the backyard. That's correct.
All right, so the other question then I had was, oh, what was it? Oh, I've forgotten. Oh, yes, is the you might have already talked about this. Is the patio permeable pavers? What is it? Gravel?
We have, but because half of the patio is already, it's gonna be with steps coming out of the house. Almost, more than
Yeah.
half of the patio is gonna be with steps coming out of the house. They are not gonna be pervious. So we have considered the patio as impervious. If the commission would prefer that the outside in here, we can make it pervious, we can certainly accommodate that. That's not a problem. But on our calculations, we have figured out that as being impervious.
Pervious. Yeah.
Impervious, the water will not go through.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why the calcs work because there was so much driveway before.
Yes,
I mean, there isn't, but now there's a lot of house and you're infiltrating the house. I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Janet and the commissioners, about the patio itself? I mean, it's between the 25 and 50. I don't know if we can require it, but, and you have it in your calcs as impervious. So the calcs seem to work. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I agree. I would like to see the patio is permeable because I like all patios to be permeable.
Sure.
So if, yeah, I agree
If
with that. I
we-
think
if
the
you can make it as-
calculations do work, but
yes. We'll be happy to accommodate that request if you can make it part of the conditions that, one suggestion that I would like to make I'm assuming Sue is all set with the questions?
well, we have other questions.
Allison, sorry. Okay,
Al-
so
and
should I
there's
answer
other-
or wait?
Yes, I'm all set.
Okay, so as far as the first request, showing the trees that are within the 25-foot buffer, I would like for the commission to possibly consider giving us the approval tonight with a condition that we will provide you with a planting plan, and that planting plan will show the trees for your approval. And if it is that you guys decide that, we have to move them around, we will be more than happy to do that. Or you can make it as a condition that, when we are on site, that the mitigation area will be planted according to Deb's instructions at the site, and we'll be happy to accommodate. It's up to you.
Okay, we can think about that.
Okay.
Allison, any further comments from you?
No, but I think that you could condition it so that the mitigation planting locations would be dependent on the existing tree canopy so that they're located to have the maximum root system and light and the least impact on the existing tree root system, something like that. I mean, if you're going to approve it tonight, you need to have some language
Thank
that allows you to move those around so that they'll live. And so you're not going to kill the trees by digging everywhere,
Of course, of course.
Dave, any questions or comments?
No, looks good.
Thank you.
Peter?
Yeah, I had the same question as Deb did, and I guess remains to be seen. I do like the idea of helping the understory, since that's been lawn for a long time. So the blueberry bushes would work, but I agree that it's very leafy, that backyard. So
I did send Clay some pictures if you want to look at pictures.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
That's the back of the house. So that is looking
Oh, is this
along,
like the 25 foot?
that's the
buffer?
25, yeah. Is
Okay,
the area to the left there. There should be more. Maybe head on. That's the stream channel.
oh wait, go back to the stream channel for a second. Thank you. Okay, all right, great.
And the next one, so that one's kind of looking head on at that area in front of the stream channel.
Okay,
So there are existing, yeah. And
definitely existing trees in there.
right,
And what's the, oh, the fence is the side property line?
yeah,
The side
yeah.
property, yep.
Yep. So the trees are going in the already treed area. They're not going in the lawn there, right?
That's
Or are they
correct.
going
The houses, which is the tree that's coming down, do we know?
that's up by the house more?
It's on the left-hand side of this tree in here. This tree that we are keeping this tree on the left-hand side. You will see if you go
It's
to
on the
picture
last
before that
picture.
was showing the fence.
Yeah, the next to the
this-
left is it.
This one that it's kind of leaning. Am I correct, Soumya?
Yeah, that's the one.
The leaning tree is the one that's coming out?
That's
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
All right, so we should be able to tell on the plan where the 25 foot is from that, right?
But part of
Um,
some of the lawn is in the 25, so it may be in the lawn, some of them.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
But-
that's what they were saying, that they were gonna kind of take away some of the lawn and make it mitigation area.
Mhm.
So I mean,
All
I
right.
think
If you look at this stake that we have on the ground, you might see a stake over there. That would be the 25 foot for reference purposes. You see that there is a stake. So that's where the 25 foot buffer is.
So all the plantings are supposed to go behind that.
Yes, and there is another stake near the fence. If you see beyond the tree, there is another
Yeah.
a stake with a ribbon on it. So
Mhm.
the area from that stake to that stake on the back, all the way to the fence, that whole area will be vegetated and planted.
Where are the two trees going that are replacing this one tree going down?
And what
Uh,
are they? What types of trees are they that are replacing?
They're flowering
So-
dogwood.
Oh, flowering
Two,
dogwood.
flowering dogwoods. We're putting one on the near the tree that we are keeping because of the drainage system that we're putting over there on the other side. And then we put another tree we're putting on the front of the house, front left corner.
Oh, I see them.
I thought I saw some red maples.
That was
Those are
in the
going-
mitigation area.
That's inside the 25 foot buffer. That's on top of the two that we are. So for the one tree that we are cutting, we putting two 2-inch trees outside the 25 foot buffer. And then as part of enhancing the 25 foot buffer, we
The
are
riverfront
adding
area.
the riverfront area. We're adding 4 more trees.
Yeah,
All
you should,
right,
you
well,
should
we'll
have
have
on the
to,
plan.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Who is talking?
I was saying that's all shown on the plan.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Peter, any more questions? So I have a couple. What does VIF for the estimated high groundwater, what's VIF mean?
So VIF stands for verifying field. We did the soil testing and the testing was provided. There is a statement from George saying that he doesn't believe that will be any problems. But when he did the testing, Janet, he found out that there were almost 3 feet of clay material. And he's recommending that the drainage field be installed below that 3 foot. So when you take into consideration the size of the chambers and then you have stone, what we are saying is that verifying fields that at the location before they put the drainage system in, make sure that we get the 2 foot separation to groundwater. We have the report that he doesn't believe that that would be an issue. but just to be on the safe side, we put a note in there to verify and feel that we've got more than 2 feet of separation.
Okay, because you'll have to, I mean, because the test pit that he dug isn't very deep. So you'll really need to, I
He
mean,
went
you-
like,
you-
yeah,
You presented that all very nicely, but we know that it wasn't very deep. And do you know what the elevation of the bottom of the stream is? I feel like that the F4, the F3, like the flags have elevations.
the flags,
is
they are the top.
They're
And
the top.
yes, that's on the top. We're not going on the bottom of the
Do you
stream.
know what the elevation of the bottom of the stream is?
I believe that George had made a statement that was, I believe, another 8 feet down.
Really? That wall is
Pro-
8 feet?
Well, he said
Yeah.
at the bottom of the stream, is that 8 feet, Soumya?
Yeah, it was around 8 feet. That's what he mentioned.
Those walls on either side of that stream are 8 feet high?
No, from the 118 what it shows where he did the soil testing, from there it's around 8 feet down. So the two side wall of the stream, it may be around like 3 to 4 feet there itself.
Because
then you
like
come-
there's some flags, F3 shows it at 114. And so how high do you think the wall is?
Around 4 feet there.
Oh, 4 feet? So that
Yeah.
would bring your stream to 110. Right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so you're estimated, he's estimating the groundwater is at 109, which is lower than the bottom of the stream. So that could be a problem. We're going to need you to provide, I have a certified soil evaluator or a
Yes.
professional engineer certify that test pit before that chamber goes in and make sure that you
But-
have plenty of separation to groundwater.
Of course.
Like
That was
take
our
the
intent,
design
and
if
we,
you need to.
yeah, and we have room on the front of the building if we have to.
Mhm.
You see how we have 2 chambers over there and we put the bulk on the back?
Yeah,
If needs be, we can change the size of the Caltech chambers that we're going to use. So we don't believe that would be an issue, but nevertheless, we put a verifying field to make sure that we do get that elevation. And typically what we have done before has been that when they have the machines on site, we'll have them verify and we'll give you guys a written statement from George saying that, yes, he witnessed it and the groundwater is below elevation 109.
okay. The detail that you have for your Caltech chamber, typical profile detail is
Yep.
wrong. It's the wrong detail.
Okay, sorry for
Your
that.
calculations were correct, but you're showing the large chambers with the 42-inch depth. But you
Okay.
didn't use, you used the ones that they're the 280.
We use the 280. We use the 280. I use that. We use that detail, but I called out the 280.
Right, so you need to change the detail on the plan.
Okay, I'll make sure to match it.
So, I did look at your stormwater calculations and
Yep.
besides the fact that you didn't actually have, I've kind of lost you guys. I don't know what I just did. Okay, there you are. That you didn't really know where groundwater is. And so but you'll have to remove all of the soil so that clay is gone from the below
That's
those
correct.
chambers. So you have to
It's-
confirm that it's good soil underneath them and that you have some separation to groundwater.
What George reported was that as soon as you take the A layer, the B layer, I believe, below the B layer, that's when the first 3 feet were bad. So what's
Right.
going to happen is that we're going to take the top part and the installation will be below the clay layers. So we'll
Yeah, and
make
you're
sure
gonna
that
take it
the-
all out because you're not gonna. stick the
Exactly,
clay back in.
exactly. And on the detail, you can see that we allowed even for more room to make it, we allowed another 2 feet on each side of the field to be open up and make sure that we got good soils.
Okay. So we're gonna need a planting plan that shows the existing trees. And we're going to need the detail corrected on the Caltech chamber. We want to show porous patio and a detail for the permeable patio. And a test pit done, certified by a soil evaluator or a professional engineer saying that you have adequate separation. Did we, anything else that, and I guess I personally, I'm okay. I guess I'd like the commission's opinion about having him provide this information. So the test pit he won't be able to do until construction. And I think they've kind of made an attempt to do some test pitting early. But as far as the plans, if those can get done before we hand over an order of conditions, I think we can vote on it. We can issue our order of conditions, but you won't actually get handed that order of conditions until you hand the plan over that has the information on it. That's correct.
That shouldn't be a problem. We'll make it happen.
Does that work for commission members, or do you want to continue this hearing?
I think it sounds perfect.
That works for
Anybody object to that strategy? Okay. Anybody in the audience have anything to add to this discussion for 311 Dedham Avenue?
There are no raised hands.
Okay, any commission member have anything to add? Or are we ready to close the hearing, appreciating that they will provide a revised plan with some additional information on it before they are handed an order of condition? Though our order will probably include some of that information as well.
Janet, for clarification, would it be okay if we revise our plan to show the new, where the existing trees are with the, where the planting will happen, or do you want a separate plan just to call it a planting plan?
Allison, you have an opinion?
no.
I mean, we'll show the whatever trees exist now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would first exist and then a plant. I mean, I think in the planting plan that's, but.
It's
And I
gonna be
think
the
some
same.
language, yeah, that in that order, as I had said.
Okay, so we'll be able to add some language to
In
the
the
order,
field.
but we want to see the existing trees.
Yeah.
on the-
Yes.
Understood. Okay.
And the only other thing I wanted to add was you have the two bounds at the two property lines. Maybe add another one in the middle so that it's not just wide open. You know what I mean?
How wide is the property?
The property, it's 80 feet wide.
It's only 80 feet wide total?
That's correct.
Yes.
You Still want that third bound?
Well, they're just like on the property lines. So there's nothing
But it should.
in the
it's
middle.
Basically a straight run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whatever, up to you guys.
So we've got one bound along, another bound along the property line.
So we're trying to keep people from going in there and mowing and such. So
Right.
that's just why I think you should have another one
Yeah.
that's visible instead of just on the property lines.
Right. So it's within that area that they're mitigating, and it can be a stake, be like a monument. It can be a rock. It can be a birdhouse. It can
Yeah,
be.
just because the lawn has already gone into the 25-foot once, so we just want to
Yep.
make clear where it is.
So can we show like a boulder over there? Would that be so that we can make it kind of fits with everything else? So would that work, or are you looking for an actual bound?
A boulder, anybody object to a boulder? I have no problem with a boulder.
As long as it has a sign on it, it's fine.
We have some markers that you can affix to it. It's a little
Yeah.
circle. You can affix
Okay.
to the boulder and to the property lines. Okay. Anything else on that, or are we ready to vote?
They did request a waiver for work on the
work within-
25 foot and a waiver of the waiver fee.
So as far as, I forgot to come back to the riverfront area. This is the one DP was concerned about, the riverfront area?
That's correct.
But yeah, because they said that the whole project was a redevelopment, when the only part that is redevelopment is the existing impervious.
Oh. Oh, in the form, it was just not clearly.
In the
described.
analysis, in the riverfront
Okay.
area analysis.
But as far as the work they're doing within the riverfront, that's allowable because the existing driveway had gone as far as the proposed house will go.
Yeah, just the amount of impervious that they were
Okay.
adding. It's not over the threshold.
It's not over the threshold. So they are meeting the performance standards of riverfront
Right.
area.
I needed them to add those mitigations in order to improve the existing.
Okay,
That's why that area is there.
now being mitigated. Great.
Yeah. It
Okay.
needs to improve the riverfront area.
Okay. I forgot what the question was before that.
And I forgot to mention, guys, there is wetlands across the street, but we've got Dedham Avenue. So this would be the 100-foot buffer from that isolated wetlands. Not that has any impact on what we are doing, but just for
Okay.
clarity, it's shown on the plans anyway, but we've got the road in the, it's on the other side of the project. I forgot to mention that, but this is the impact that would have. 100-foot buffer.
There's no like catch basins right like in the street, right next to the driveway or anything. is there?
No, we located the sewer manholes in here, as you can see, but there is no catch basin or anything
Okay,
that we
so
could
it's-
protect on the ground.
Okay. All right, if we are ready to close this, we can kind of just, the waiver. What is that
Yeah, we
thing?
don't have to do that till we review
Okay,
that.
just keeping that in mind. We have to come back to the waiver request. It's hard when it's this type of a project. Okay, so if we're ready to close the hearing, I'll take a motion. Anyone?
I move we close the hearing on 311 Dedham Ave. I don't have the number.
234892.
Okay.
Thanks, Sue. Can I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Dave. All right, all in favor, Peter,
Aye.
Allison,
Hi.
Dave,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Janet, aye. Great. Thank you very much. So you prepare the plan and
Thank you.
we'll prepare our order of conditions.
Much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Right.
Have a good
Janet,
night.
if you could next do the 134 Clark Road tree removal
Okay.
discussion.
134 Clark Road, there's a tree removal discussion. Who is on board to talk about that?
I'm here, David Prock.
You are the property owner.
Yeah, my sister's here as well, Susan.
Hey, Susan. It's
And
like all of a
Clay,
sudden the
Clay has
family's
some
meeting.
pictures when you're ready for this.
Okay. Do you want to explain your request?
Yeah,
Or
so
why
there-
we're having the discussion?
yeah, there's been some thought around the trees at our house. We're selling our childhood home. Our parents passed away, so we're in the process of selling the home. We're considering, we were trying to remove the trees. There's 2 trees in the front. If Clay wants to bring that up at some point, that are overhanging the house. The discussion with the buyers has been around the fact that those tree limbs that you see are hanging over the house, the 2 main trees. There's also some trees in the back that I don't have pictures of, actually. I realize now that they're on this, there's a stream in the back, the brook in the back. And there's a few trees on that brook edge where there's also some overhanging the house. So we're concerned a little bit about the safety of the tree, trees in general, and the tree branches that are overhanging the house, and if they fall off during a storm, damaging the house and hurting someone in the house. So the proposed originally was to remove those trees. And I guess the choice is either remove them or prune them. And so we talked with Deb. I talked with Deb pretty extensively. And the idea was to come here to talk to you to see if we could remove them. So Deb, I don't know if you want to fill in any of the details from your kind of side of, you know, what we talked, or not side, but your view of what we
Sure.
talked
So I know that you had mentioned you had a certified arborist look at the trees, and they concluded they were healthy. They're both large oak trees. So our preference, I think, when we discussed, was for you or the new owners to prune them. And so that was our hope, was going to be agreeable. You know, it sounds like the new owners aren't really happy with only pruning them and want to have them removed. So I explained they are, you know, really substantial trees that are good for wildlife habitat. And if they were removed, that for each tree removed, we would have to probably see four new trees planted for each tree.
Yeah.
So I think, Janet, you can speak to whether the commission would allow them to, or.
Yeah, I mean, I guess these trees are beautiful trees.
And Allison might have an opinion as well.
Yeah, Allison, and it is kind of always heartbreaking for us to see beautiful trees being asked to be removed. I can appreciate the one that's in front of the front door, as it seems very close to the house. The one to the side, I really don't see any reason to remove a perfectly healthy tree that's on the side of a house that's providing shade and canopy and so many wonderful opportunities for this home. They're going to be very hot if they remove those trees. But and the trees in the back, I understand, are within the 25-foot no disturb of the stream. Is that true?
They're on the bank of the stream.
And the
So-
bank of the stream. So we cannot allow you to remove the trees that are in the back, because that's in our no disturb zone. So you hear that.
Do you have any thoughts, Allison?
Yeah, I do. I mean, without going and looking at them, I mean, you know, I know a lot about red oaks, and I don't know if your arborist did a density test, you know, where they can test to see if it's sound inside those are old trees. Now, red oaks live a long time, but they do, you know, they do start to decline with great age, and they must be at least 80 years old, maybe older, 100, I don't know. And certainly some of the one right in the middle of the house, it looks really close, looks gigantic. And the other one looks like there's a big limb. I mean, it's hard to see what big limb that's coming over the house, the one on the side. And the problem I see with pruning giant limbs off older trees is that, yeah, you do reduce the canopy and you can make it temporarily more safe. But when you cut a great big limb like that, no matter how well you do it, it's going to take a long time for it to heal, for it to callus over. And it's a source, it's just like a human cutting your arm off. It's a source of potential infection. And so you are kind of setting the tree back. And so, you know, if it's a giant limb, it's much easier to do the canopy, you know, but when you have, like, if there's like a giant limb that's 24-inch, you know, caliber, just the limb, it's an issue for an older tree. I'm not saying it's going to kill it, but, you know, I would get those trees tested. I mean, if to see if you have any inclination to keep them and you're not going to keep fighting to take them down, and you just want to, and it ends up you prune them, I would get it tested with it's like a pressure test, and it's not expensive. They have, you know, good arborists have
I guess
equipment.
one of the things we're really looking for is, can we or can't we take them down? And that's sort of been the question. And it's, kind of leads to going back and forth a little bit with our lawyers and the buyer's lawyers. And we're just trying to figure out, we'd like to move on and the new buyers would like to move in, and we were
So
just
I
looking for a
think,
clear- we're just looking for a clear sort of,
Right.
marching orders. It sounds like we can't remove the trees that are down by the stream. I understand that. But, in talking with Deb, there was, it's just, we're just trying to understand what we can and can't do, I guess.
So if you were to remove the 2 trees in the front, each tree, we would require 4 replacement trees because they are large, healthy trees. If they were hazard trees or, there's other things, we maybe don't ask for as much mitigation as a very healthy tree. I don't think we can't say you can't take them down. We
Okay.
just
So the
feel
question,
badly about you taking them down because it's a struggle for us. Like within the 25-foot no disturb zone, you can't take them down.
okay, but the 2 front trees we could. When it comes to the point that you're making, or the requirement, I guess, of the 4 trees per tree. So we are, as I said, in the process of changing hands with the property. What is the liability if, we remove the trees and then let's just say the new owners, I'm sure they will, I'm just saying, what if they didn't? Is there liability on our side? Given that.
Whoever asked to remove the trees, we expect to replace the trees.
Okay.
So if you don't want the liability, then the new property owners maybe are the ones that should be making the ask.
Okay. Well, it's
Or
not
you
that I
should
don't want-
plan to replace them.
It's just a timing thing because we're supposed to be closing on the house this a week from, gosh, what is that? I don't know, a week and a half, something like that.
Mhm.
And so if it occurred, so I guess what I'm saying is if we can't do half of it and then change hands and then so it has to all be done. Okay, all right, that's good.
I think then you figure out what the cost is to take the trees down and to plant the new trees and make your deal.
Yeah.
Also going to cost a lot of money. You probably already know, to take those giant trees down, thousands and thousands of dollars. Planting 4 trees that are 2.5 to 3 or whatever, are little trees is a pittance. Taking those trees down and then actually,
Yeah, we have a price for taking them down, so we know all the costs.
they're a lot. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And you got to take you got to dig down for.
You gotta get rid of this and then you gotta get rid of the grinding. So yeah, we're really aware of that.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it 2 trees or 4 shrubs with 1 healthy tree?
No, they're really healthy trees, Sue. So we're saying 4 trees for,
Okay.
4 trees for these healthy.
And they don't have to be in the same place. You can put them in a different place.
Within, within you have your buffer zone, you have the whole.
There-
property.
is there- in terms of the replacement, is there a bylaw or anything that I could look at or have
Yes.
or have
Yes.
access to, I guess?
Yeah, it's on the site. There's a tree. There's all the
Yeah, we
species.
would want the native and
So
native.
they have
wanna
to be
search
8
for 'em.
high wildlife value trees, right?
I'm sorry, can you repeat? My computer
Oh,
decided.
no
that-
worries. So we're
SI
looking for,
RI.
to replace the wildlife value of the trees you're taking out.
There's a plant
So,
list on our website, though. There's a plant list. There's a tree
Um,
List. A
list.
tree list?
Yes,
Is there a trees? There's a tree list.
species
No?
that you can review. There always
we
has
have, well,
been.
yeah, we have the removal guidelines
And a list
we-
of trees that he
Yeah.
could, that he could plant.
But I guess I'm
Correct.
asking, is there, and maybe you said it because my sound went out for a minute, but is there a requirement though, anywhere that I can see that says I have to replace the 2 trees with 4 trees? Or that whoever removes them has to do that? Or Sue? Yeah, go ahead.
I believe they're saying 4 trees per tree.
Or what did I say? Whatever, I guess what I'm saying is that I mean, is that a, you know, in the bylaws, or is that a, like a, sort of, you know, something that you,
We're not questioning the requirement. We're looking
No.
for written confirmation.
yeah, that's
So
all.
there's a tree policy on our website, but the policy really, and it says, I believe the policy says 2 trees for every 1 tree, except that policy is really kind of talking about trees that aren't that healthy. So these very large trees, we would have a stronger requirement for, and it more is a,
It's at their discretion. It's not
right, it's
necessarily
it's a
written in there, but it's up to the
policy.
commission what they want to do.
Okay.
So I can
And
put
is that
together a
something-
letter and send it to you talking about what needs to be done.
That'd be great.
Peter, you have something to add?
Yeah, so will this have to go through a notice of intent, or is this just a deal we're making here? Because
So normally if it's 1 or 2 trees, you'll let us do it administratively. But since they were large, healthy trees, I didn't feel comfortable with that. So I wanted to get you guys involved.
well, is there a requirement for monitoring the new plantings? I guess that's my question.
Not if they haven't filed, then
Okay,
there isn't. Because we don't
Sue,
have
you
any
had a
mechanism.
question?
I
Sue-
didn't. I'm good.
No, Susan Prock.
Yeah,
the
I
owner.
don't want to muddy the water, so I'm just gonna go through this very, very quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree taking 2 large healthy trees down really seems like a shame. That 1 tree is very, very close to the front door. And although it's the largest one, I mean, I remember when we moved in there 55 years ago, it was a very, very much smaller tree. Now you literally can't see someone coming down the sidewalk because the tree is so large. Would it complicate things too much to take down that tree and leave the other one, which is slightly smaller? And I think its overhanging branches are smaller, and that way everybody could get some of each. Or am I just muddying the waters?
No, personally, I would prefer that. My personal belief would be, I can totally appreciate why that 1 tree in the center of the house may be something that causes anxiety. But the tree to the side isn't as big. So it's kind of what, but at the same time, you asked us, you know, can't, you know, what's the rules? And you can, we struggle with it. We do not like to see trees coming down. But it happens, and trees get extra large, and they are, you know, sometimes they come down. But we do require trees to be planted in their place as a mitigation, and we have a tree policy. And these particular trees are very old and very strong, and we would like to see more trees replacing them because of their size.
Well, I'm not arguing with that at all.
And
Yeah.
and do they have to be in a similar area to where the?
Just within the buffer zone, which I believe your entire property is within the
Yeah.
buffer zone.
So they could be anywhere on the property?
They could be anywhere on the property.
Okay. And the width of the diameter, is there a set?
Do we
kind of-
say 2.5 or 3 inch?
I thought it
What
was
do we
2.5.
I think I said 3 inch.
Do we, is that what we typically ask for, 3 inch? That's what Artie was just doing 3 inch on his last, and he's done it before many times.
Yeah, I think it's 3.
Okay, 3 inch caliper.
Okay, 3-inch caliper, and do they have to be the same species of tree, or is it any tree?
They
No,
need to
you
be-
just need to contact, whoever is gonna do it needs to contact me. To okay them and the location.
What would make it not okay, I guess? Like
What do you mean?
Like when you say to make sure they're okay, if they're 3-inch trees and it's a apple tree versus a
No.
ash versus a, you know.
We want
Yeah.
to make sure that it's a native tree to this
Okay.
species and a non-invasive type of a tree. And
Okay,
there's some that are better than others.
Okay,
And if you suggested something that we know gets sick and dies quickly, we might tell you that's not a good choice.
okay.
So
That makes-
it's,
Plant
then-
red oaks again if you wanted to.
And
you
then,
could put in red oaks again and that would
They
be
apparently do well there.
yeah, evidently. And then in terms of where they go on the property, is there, and you know, Deb, what would make it not a good spot, or what would make it not okay? Because if I try to plan out where they, you know, if the new owners or whoever does it,
Mhm.
are there spots, you know, outside of that?
Well, the lot does, I mean, it doesn't seem very big to me. It's pretty small, right?
It goes down the street. It's about, I think it's, just under half an acre.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's a
just, you
little
know, you
fine
don't want them too close to the, I mean, do you want them to plant in the 25 foot or?
if they already have trees there, they don't need to plant more trees there. Not really. I think that they should stay out of that 25 foot.
Okay,
So anywhere outside the 25-foot zone is acceptable, I guess.
Well, I wouldn't plant them right underneath the big, if you keep that left hand or right hand.
Mhm.
I wouldn't put it right underneath that.
Oh, right. No, I understand that. I'm just.
that's what I'm saying. It
saying-
just needs to make sense as
Yeah,
far as,
okay.
you know, giving them the best chance we can, and obviously not too close to the foundation and, you
Yeah,
know, so.
okay.
So
Okay,
would you be able to write a letter saying that, because what we so need here is clarity with the buyers, because we very much would like to close. So say that the back trees cannot be removed because they're within the limitation.
25 foot, no disturb.
The
Mhm.
side tree needs to be trimmed, but not removed, and the front tree may be removed.
Well, no, the side tree, we can remove both trees. It's not a matter, it's just, you know, everyone here, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not saying we can't remove the trees. What you're saying is if we remove the trees, any tree we remove needs to be replaced with 4 3-inch native species trees planted on the property. Is that right?
Right.
That's correct.
Is
And
that,
that we would prefer to see that tree remain, but we're not going to force them to keep it.
and Deb, is that something that you could write in an email to me in the next couple days or next week, something like that?
yeah,
Okay,
Actually, to both of us.
or yeah, either way.
Wouldn't mind.
Yeah,
yep,
I meant that. She makes sure I'm
your siblings.
yeah.
It works. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to sell your childhood home.
Yeah, it is. It's very difficult. So, all right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Good
Sure.
luck.
Thank you.
Good luck with all of that.
All right.
Sorry
so
to
much.
see those beautiful trees
And
go.
you guys don't need to vote or anything, or are we good to go here?
No, it's just a discussion, so we do not need to vote.
Great. All right. Thanks so much for your time, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
All right. Okay, which one would you like us to do now? 6 Sunset or 167 New Hoyden?
Janet, we do have one raised hand in the audience as well.
Oh, okay. What about that? Hopefully that was just a discussion.
I believe
Yeah.
it was up before that discussion or as we were starting that discussion, but
Okay.
I'll pull them over now.
Okay. Ross Donald? If you can,
Here we
you
go.
have the floor. You have a question?
Yes, let me turn to, I'm trying to attend 2 meetings at once. It's impossible.
It's impossible. Believe me,
So
we've all done it.
I'm gonna let that go. That's the housing study group. Yeah, I'm here because there was something on the agenda about the Maple Street drainage.
Yes, we
Let's
talked
talk-
about that, the very first thing. The DPW is here. They are going to be, there's 3
Okay,
sections.
excuse me, so you've already discussed it?
Yes, we've already discussed it.
Well, I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of it. Yeah, the reason why I'm interested is because I'm a resident of public housing right
Okay.
near there. We abut, that is, the housing authority abuts the property. And how can I follow up on this, the discussion? Is it recorded or anything like that? Or was there
Yes.
decisions? Was there a presentation? I understood there were photographs required and maybe some mapping and identifying the trees that were coming out potentially.
Well, yep, there was maps and there was figures that showed the sections of the streams that were being maintained. There was
Yep.
many photographs that we went through.
Oh,
And we
wonderful.
talked about the different, the sediment that would be removed, the debris that would be removed,
Right.
and any of the small trees that were along the edges of the bank that would be removed.
Mhm.
But they're not removing any large trees, just some small saplings and some of the invasives that are growing along the wall within 3 feet of the wall
Right.
edge.
Yeah, I'm interested in all this from a learning perspective. This is one ecosystem that extends beyond the boundary line, and there are drainage systems that go underneath the parking lot that extends a little bit south of the area that you were looking at. Just in passing, was the housing authority notified about this?
Do we- I
No,
mean,
it's not,
this
it
is a
wasn't a
general-
filing. I'm sorry, go
So
ahead. Jen.
this was just, this was considered a DPW maintenance activity because it's really for maintenance purposes.
Right.
If they do anything to the walls of that stream, there's all the walls, they will need to file a notice of intent and they will then be notifying the housing authority.
All right, okay. Yeah, you're so experienced in doing this. You understand all the procedures and everything. The reason, the bigger reason why I'm interested in is that a lot of these, any information that I'm planning on being a resident here for a while, and I'm participating in the redevelopment, modernization, whatever you want to call the activities that are going on. And I believe
Right.
there should be significant attention paid to the natural areas there. I was just walking the north of the parking lot and found, just a little bit of a difference. There's like a field of mushrooms that is in between where the water has gathered, doesn't drain very well. There's no flowing water there really. And the more forested area, which is really mossy, but it's a special little area, and I didn't know which particular mushroom it was, but that's only a curiosity, but I think there's a lot of value. I developed a grant application to a program recently that I want, and in order to develop what I'm calling the Linden Street Botanical Garden Collection.
Excellent.
Which started for me with some drawings that I found, and it was either the veterans housing or a modernization effort, and it included a planting schedule that included daylilies, pink rhododendrons, and a couple of other things. The only one they dropped out, I haven't seen any, it was red carnation. I don't know why they included that, but I'm taking pictures. I've been taking photographs for 10 years. The upkeep and maintenance has been miserable, and considering that this is the 200th year of the birthday of Olmsted, I think this is an opportunity. They have programs going in. It doesn't reach out as far as here, although when I lived in Mission Hill, Olmsted had done drawings for carriage paths, and there's the whole Muddy River.
Oh
thing.
yeah, Olmsted has done amazing work.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. And
And-
this area is something that we definitely want to keep as a natural because it's great for the habitat, it's great for the stormwater, and the more growth that's in there, the better, in my opinion. So like he was saying that there's some neighbors that kind of like to dump leaves and put across a board over, and so we definitely discourage that kind of
Well,
thing.
I don't know. Let me just comment on that, if I may. When the neighborhood kids go through there, I grew up in Needham, and we knew all these paths and so forth, and getting from, I was speaking with 3 people, including Kevin Keene, and we realized that we had all 3 of us attended Pollard School. And we knew the different ways to get around there, and a lot of them were natural areas and so forth. And I think the housing authority made a mistake in pulling up those boardwalks that you were talking about, which is right next to and around some of those drainage culverts and whatever you want to call them. And I thought that was a real plus to have something like that that was safe, that was well used, well trafficked, and had become hazard free pretty much. Now that it's all torn up, it's a mess.
Yeah,
unsightly.
it's the dumping of leaves and debris in there that we really are discouraging. So we do not
Yes.
want.
Oh, you know who does that? You know who does that? The housing authority.
Yeah, well, tell them not
telling
to. So thank you very much for your interest. We
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
And
well-
we're, if you're all set, we're gonna move on to our next. thing.
Yeah,
You're
thank
all-
you for,
And-
thank you
and
for your.
I will just add, Ross, I do have your contact information still. So tomorrow I'll follow up with you with the plans that were presented.
Right.
And I will also let you know when this recording is posted to YouTube and you can watch the beginning of the meeting at a later date.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yep, bye.
Okay, 6 Sunset or 167 New Hoyden. Do we have somebody for either of those?
Artie's here for Sunset. I don't know where the Nohoyden people are.
Okay, so we might as well talk about 6 Sunset. 6 Sunset Road, DP file number 234567, a request for partial certificate of compliance. This is a discussion, is that correct, Artie?
I would think so, yes.
Okay, discussion.
Let's
Here
go
we
with the discussion. So what's happening is that this is an old project, and the way the order of conditions was issued was that Conservation Commission would not consider issuing a certificate of compliance until we provided with a plan that would show the actual document that needed to be recorded at the Registry of Deeds for the restriction area. So it's an old project from, I guess, 10 years ago or
12, I think.
or older than that.
Well, I
Mhm.
don't want to, I don't mean to interrupt, but Sunset Road, that's where the Sunita Williams School is, right at the end of this?
Yeah, it's a little bit further down from
Okay,
Sunita
because, well,
Williams.
this is the cul-de-sac.
So
we
you
did
you
the-
pass and then you is the first one on the, yeah, next to it, yes.
It's like the end of the cul-de-sac. You keep going.
Yes, yes.
Okay, got it. Now I know where we are.
Okay.
All right, so what happened with the plants?
So let me start with the plan first. So you can, I have an overlay. So this is the original plan showing what it is that was proposed at the time. And now, so 2009 is when the work was done. So now we are in 2022. The owner of the property once sold the house. The new people have moved in, but we got to close the order of conditions. So what we are, let me freeze this. So the new house has been built with a deck, the driveway in the front of the house, the fence that was required to be installed. There has been going back and forth between me and Clayton and Deb as far as what transpired. I have a letter that we provided you for a request for a certificate of compliance. So items that we see that are different between what was proposed and what actually got done would be, I start with item number 1, which would be a gas tank. So it's a propane tank that sticks above the ground. It's located on the left-hand side. This is one of the items that wasn't approved, but is already installed. So
All right,
I don't
fine.
think is a major
Next.
thing. That's one.
That's not major.
I-
Next,
Item number 2, there was a 24-inch double tree. We are calling it J. In 2009, it was approved that these trees were going to be cut or removed, but they were going to save them if they could. So we are reporting to the commission that they saved them.
great. Next,
Okay. Next item was, there is a garden area that used to be inside the partially inside the 25-foot buffer on this area in here. They came in front of the commission asking for, as a minor modification or to amend the order of conditions. And one of the things that they had asked was to remove that garden area. However, the garden area did not disappear. The garden area is outside the restriction area. So it's still there, but has been moved outside of the restoration area.
Okay.
Okay. Now we had the letter that Mary Truda, who did the original delineation, write saying that in her opinion, the area was restored and planting was done at the time. Some of it had died, and from the roots of what died, new specimens came up. Deb met with me on site and she had concern about that. I'm sure she can talk about that a little bit more.
You're just the messenger. Okay. Anything else?
I can't speak much for the restoration. So the other item would be one of the conditions that that Conservation Commission had was that as part of this project was going to be installed a dry well in here, dry well number 1, dry well number 2, dry well number 3, and dry well number 4. However, so on the order of conditions specified that prior installation, the surveyor or the engineer had to inspect it before the dry wells got put in. Now we're talking about 13 years later, we got a letter from the builder at the time saying that the dry wells are installed as per requirements, but he didn't have any paperwork. So we just have his letter stating that it were done. We inspected the site with Deb and we looked at the downspouts going to the ground. At the time, we were not engineers or surveyors for this site. We don't have any supportive documentation, but it appears that they have been installed. The owner believes that they are installed. We did put a note on the plan that we are showing this dry well based on the approved plan. More than likely they were put in, but there is nothing on the surface that can tell you where exactly they are. So for clarity, we are showing them. So installation of subsurface infiltration system was done as specified based on a letter by Hillside Carpenter Inc. provided in 6/17/2022, which we provided.
Okay.
The other item would be when we were on the ground, we located the trees so that we know which trees is on the ground and which one is missing. So what we found is a couple of typos. So this tree, for example, tree B, we measured it was like 15 inches, but on the original plans in 2009 was shown as 18 inches. The only reasonable explanation that we could come up with would be that the party chief was a short guy and chest height must have been much lower than what we measured. So we don't believe that the tree shrunk, but it is what it is. Tree D, we measured
do you think it was an
14.
8-inch tree that is now 15 inch?
Well, typically as time goes by, the tree gets bigger, doesn't get smaller.
Right, but do you think, could it
So-
have been 8 instead of 18? Do you think it could have been 8? I mean, do you think it's the same exact tree, or do you think that tree was gone? and now a new
But
tree-
because of the location where it is located, I believe is the same tree. I think it's human error or scrivener's error. Maybe they misread it or miswrote it, however you want to call it. I don't think it's a different tree. It on the same location where the old tree was, and
Okay,
from the looks on the ground is the same thing.
okay,
The same thing for this 3G in here, we measured it at 7 inches. On the list that they had done, they were showing that there was a 10-foot cluster, but they were showing it as one tree. For clarity, we're saying it's just a 7-inch pine, but it is what it is. The other thing that we noticed is that we believe that there is a bust on elevations on the original plan that they provided you guys, because there is a almost a 3-foot bust between the elevations shown on the front and the elevations that they had shown on the back. We put a note on the plan stating that we are going with the assumption that top of concrete is the same. We made sure that on the sides and the road, the elevations are the same with the proposed plan. This area has not been changed. It's just that I think when they were doing the survey at the time, they must have miscalculated the numbers, but this is what's on the ground now. We have checked it every which way. So we put a note saying elevations on the record plans are shown 2 to 3 feet higher on the back of the house. The elevations are what we have on the ground, other than being a human error or, you know, scrivener's error, whatever you want to call it on the back. They haven't changed the ground in here. It's just that they showed the wrong elevations. There is a stone column on the front in here. You see near the electric box on the front, there is like a stone column. I don't know why they put it. It's like almost 6, maybe 4 or 5 feet tall, but is there. It's within the 200-foot buffer. One of the things that was required from the commission was that for the restriction line, a fence was going to be installed along this line in here. So at the time, this section of the post and rail, I mean, it's just vertical posts that they have, and they put the ropes in between. It wasn't there before, but they put it. We didn't go all the way to the tree because we didn't want it to damage the tree. But here is the location of where we staked it on the ground where the 25-foot buffer was, and they moved it, the chain link fence, so that everything falls. And what we did is we hatched the area to show that this is the line of where the replication was going to happen. I'll make it a red so you guys can see it. So this would be the area of the replication in question. The fence is there, and the post and rail fence over there continues also. Other
Why do
than
you
that,
think, I'm sorry, why would the area have this sharp 90-degree bend in it?
this is how much they own. This is owned by someone else.
Oh, okay, that's why, that's a different property. I
That's
got it.
why,
All right.
I can show you on the,
No, that makes
Appro-
sense. I just was like, why would we do that? It was a different property owner. Got
yeah,
it.
it's a different property owner. You see how they were showing it on the approved plans?
Yeah, okay.
What we now, let me show you another plan. So this would be this is the plan that we provided to Conservation Commission, because part of the deal is that the Conservation Commission has to approve the restriction plan. So in here, because it's going to be part of a document, we already provided that document to the commission for your approval. So,
Okay.
so there is a restriction that was required to be put on the property. So
In that
we did.
hatched area that you just showed us, that little hatched area is supposed to have a conservation restriction on it?
Me and Clay agreed that it looks like that's what the intent was of the commission at the time, because this area was disturbed. So what they said was, you got to put a fence in here and you got to provide the plan to be recorded at the Registry of Deeds. Kind of, we are assuming that the intent at the time the commission had was this area that they were replicating or that they were restoring to be restricted. It would have made sense that you restrict this, the whole up to the 25-foot buffer, but it
Yeah.
wasn't that clear. And that's the purpose of this plan, so that if you guys feel that we got to change something, maybe now is the time. But
Well, it just seems like, when you have a conservation restriction, don't you kind of say north 35 degrees, and then take the left and blah. Like all the zigzaggy thing is kind of a mess.
So I believe that what they were, my understanding was that the way the commission was envisioning this thing to happen was to say that the chain link fence area with the post and rail area this would be the limit of the restriction. So anything beyond on the left-hand side of the chain link fence and a post and rail fence is the restriction area. Now, I showed the hatched area just for clarity. I think it's gonna, if it was me, for clarity purposes, I would take off the restoration area and just show the fences in there so people would know in the future, 20 years from now, that, hey, the restriction goes from the fence all the way up to the wetlands. You know, we showed it, and, you know, I mean, I can take it off, but this is the restored area. So I showed it so you guys can see where the restored area is. But one version would be if you remove that and you just make it clear and you say, here is the post and rail fence, and you say fence equal restriction area. Now someone would know that this area in here is what being restricted. But rather than
Oh
show
my
that
God, you're
zigzagging
killing
area.
us. This is like, so how, is their whole parcel, this 7J, is that all their parcel? The
Yes,
same property owner?
7J,
All the
yeah,
way
yeah,
to the
same.
Rosemary Brook? Is Rosemary Brook?
That's correct.
there?
That's correct. That's correct.
So that's, that piece is also restricted compared to just this little hatched area? I mean, it just
we-
seems crazy, this little teeny hatched area. That just.
Well,
seems-
the hatched
So
area
can
is
I,
the restored area, is not the restricted area.
Okay. Okay.
So
Oh, the hatched is
I-
the restored area, not the restricted
So
area.
I
Okay.
am assuming that for this purpose, we remove the restored area because this is an independent document that's going to be at the Registry of Deeds. 10
Yep.
years from now, who would care what the restored area was?
Correct.
So my logic would be we take off the restored area and we say fence equal restriction line. So now what you're saying is from the fence all the way to Rosemary Brook, that's all restricted. So
But
that
does it
someone can,
end? Oh, at that leader, does the
yes,
fence?
the
end right
fence
there?
ends, the fence ends in here.
So what about to the right of that fence?
The order wasn't clear at the time, so if you would like to show that line, we'll be happy to do it. But if you look in here, this is where the fence ended because this is where the trees were. I'll show you the approved plan. So here is the approved plan, guys. So you see the yellow line, that would be the line where they want the conservation in 2009, wanted that fence to be put in. So
So
what
is
we
it
want
because
to,
of the floodplain? Was it to somehow correlate with the floodplain?
no, it correlates with the limit of the bordering vegetated wetland. So the planting
So-
area, see, you can see where the edge of the wetland is.
Yep, so
Where
that
the-
fence and then the restored was to go to the wetland. Like
Correct,
wetland flag 7.
yeah,
Okay, so if we just were to, in our heads, extend the yellow fence
hmm
to wetland flag 7 and say
Mhm.
that,
well, I guess it's more wetland flag 8. The hatched
well, yeah,
area.
so then it would go to a different angle. So is that what we wanted to do, like rotate it up to wetland flag 8? I mean, and like, I kind of am like, why the whole 25 foot should be included, but I'm trying to understand what
Well,
was thought of so long ago.
so if you look in here, this would be the line that they were showing for the town floodplain line.
The green line with the
yeah.
big dashes, yeah.
So my guess would be that you cannot do anything within that area anyway.
Right.
So maybe what you might want to say it on the language on the documents is another way to look at this would be to say, okay, the area on the left-hand side, or we say it on the southerly side of the fence, and the area with inside the 25-foot buffer up to the brook will be all conservation area or restricted area.
Well, that would work for me to say the 25-foot buffer.
So this kind
But
of,
is
it
there
doesn't,
anything marking that 25-foot buffer besides the fence that ends in the middle of it?
nothing. It was, so it was required that the fence be put in. It wasn't required anything more.
Mhm.
So
You
you're
know-
not gonna include so you're not gonna include the whole restoration area?
Well,
My
no, if you
thinking
go from the
was-
fence and you go right all along, where all the way to the
Oh.
N770, see the zero, the 25-foot buffer goes right in there. That's what he was just suggesting. Is that right? That's right, Artie?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Again,
Yeah, hit
it's,
it, go up to that zero in the 7300. Yeah, it's just a matter of how do we call that out? I like the idea of holding it within the 25-foot buffer as part of the conservation restriction.
Well,
but I don't know how to. show
what
it to
about
anybody.
how about if we do this and, you know, rather than have a monument over there, we put a so we put a distance in here saying 73 feet away.
From
You
what?
see what I'm saying? So from the corner, from the lot corner.
Oh, can you
so-
zoom out a little? Or maybe I've zoomed in a lot. I don't know.
Uh,
Oh, I've zoomed in. Wait, hold on, sorry.
you see, so from the 25-foot
Okay,
buffer,
there's-
you see the 20, let me make
Yep.
this in red. So from the
Mm.
property corner to the where the 25-foot buffer is, it's 73 feet away.
Okay,
So I can show a distance on the plan, say 73 feet to there. Now it's going to be, now you can say that, okay, the restricted area, which is shown on the plan, shown chain engineering, goes along the existing fence, chain link fence, and the post and rail fence up to the 73-foot mark
up to
from
73
the
foot
lot.
from the front.
You
Yep,
know what I mean?
Yep.
That way we don't have to go back and put something else on the ground
Right.
when we got new people owning the property.
yep.
Now,
I
the
followed
que-
that.
So the
Did
question would
everybody
be,
else follow that? Yeah,
Why don't you just say it follows the 50-foot line?
I don't want to say follows the 50-foot line, because if you look in here, inside the 50-foot buffer, they have a garden. So part of the approval was that they were going to remove the garden that was inside the 25-foot buffer, but they ended up putting it back up. So
within the
if it is
50-foot
a-
buffer.
Yeah, so now if you say that the within 50-foot buffer, now they're gonna have to take off the fence for the garden, cannot be there, because you can't have a garden inside the restricted area. Either you're restricting it or you're not restricting it. I don't know, am I making sense?
Yeah, I think you're making sense. So just to, well, okay, we can finish this thought on the conservation restriction, which I didn't really understand was part of the
Well,
conversation.
that's the reason of the discussion, because the way the order of conditions is written is that you guys would not consider issuing a certificate of compliance without a restriction being recorded at the registry of deeds.
Okay, that's true. So.
You know what I mean? So
This-
that's why
so
we're
you're
here.
gonna create this restriction, which is gonna show the fence and 73 feet from the property corner.
So
And that is gonna be.
This is the different plan. So I have made,
Mhm,
so the plan that I did with you guys was scale 1 to 20, 1 to 20 because of the 24 by 36 paper. We did a separate plan on scale 1 inch equals 60 feet. And the reason why we did that is because there's going to be an attachment to a document. So, but at the
Okay.
same time, we want it to be legible. So one of the things that I would like from the commission tonight would be, are you comfortable not to show the restored area on this plan just because,
Yes.
you know, it makes it more convoluted?
Yeah,
that
the
would be
restored
item
area
one.
has nothing to do with the conservation restriction.
Now, when we say conservation restriction, do you want me to put some arrows to say, okay, to the fence and then up to the 25-foot buffer, so it's obvious? How would you
Yes.
like me to show this?
You hatch it, just like the restored area was hatched. Why couldn't you just hatch this restricted area, then that would be,
And
That
you
would
want me
be-
to, would you want me to go all the way to the river, or how would you like me to do it?
Yes. What, the entire area,
that's the one, just the wetland line.
what has just happened? We good again? I think the area, the entire area that you are envisioning is this conservation restriction to show on this figure. You will draw that line in and then have the whole area and hatch it in some way, shade it, whatever, however you want to see it, and all the way to the center line of the river, which is the edge of their property.
I'll make it red so we all can
Yep.
see it.
I know.
So with something like this, I mean, obviously I'll make it more pretty, but just
Right.
for right
But
now.
what if, now, could
What-
you, can you take that and just fill that in with a shade, like a light gray or something? I mean, what happens when it goes to record it? Does it like get copied 1,000 times or something?
Well, when you try to shade it, it's going to be difficult.
Okay, okay.
Or,
that's
or
fine.
one way to do it would be once you hedge this area, what if you do it? Hold on, let me make it. What about if we do that?
Giving us some CAD lessons here.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that's a good, sand is good. Hmm. Oh, yeah. No, you can't see those. I liked it with the two. You can see the two. I can't see the little, I can't really see that. I mean, maybe is it gonna be too dark, or maybe we can say 3?
Let's see, 3.
Is it not gonna stay yellow? It's gonna like be some other color. It's like black or something.
Would this
Oh,
do
yeah.
it?
What do
Huh?
people think? That's very obvious to me what the area that's being considered the. And you'll have to like take your text and bring it to the front or something.
Yes.
Mhm.
So now it's going to be hard to show the restriction. I mean, I'm going to have to show some arrows for the restriction line, because it has to be obvious that people know what the restriction line is. You know
Yeah,
how I've shown arrows for,
yep,
Yeah, you could clean that up.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the
I
idea.
mean, that's the idea, I guess.
Yeah.
You now, a couple of minor things in my mind. So would be that on the approved plan, they were showing the flags from the wetland flag 1 to wetland flag 11. The 25-foot buffer, the 50-foot buffer, then 100-foot buffer, it all made sense. However, on the plans that they were showing is that this line in here, that it appears to have been the floodplain line, they kept on going like this, and now on the plan, on the approved plan, was showing 50-foot buffer somewhere in here, but there were no wetland flags. So the way I got around it was to say, okay, 50-foot buffer line as shown on the record plan, because I showed this as a dashed because, I don't know how exactly they came up with this 50, but that's what was approved. At the same time, there was a straight line that was coming up in here that is saying is 100-foot buffer. Now, I don't know exactly how the commission came up with that line, but that was approved, so I'm kind of leaving it alone. You know what I mean? So, but
Okay.
on the final plan, everything, should look obvious.
So was it just bank over there that they went off of? There wasn't
Yeah,
wetlands
it's the
in that
riverfront
area?
area.
Did they get that from the bank?
I mean, this dashed line in here on other plans was showing as top of bank. So maybe when they were doing work on this other projects in here, they knew that there were flags in here, but it wasn't shown. I mean, there is no flag number in here. I did meet with Clay and he said, Artie, the best way to do it would be, let's show a distance from this flag to the house that we're showing that we are 67 feet.
Yep.
And because this lines, they're showing 25-foot no disturb and 50-foot no disturb. Maybe they knew that this was not just the floodplain, but this was also the wetland line where they got
Right,
it from.
but I'm just saying maybe it's not wetland, maybe it's bank.
Maybe it's riverfront.
Maybe
Well,
it's,
yeah, but this is a line that they were showing that was 100-foot riverfront. I mean, how can you go on a straight line if you do, well, here is the plan. We tried to, I mean, we did an effort with Clay to try to understand it, but as you can see, they show this straight line going this way. So when they represented this line, they show a distance of 41 feet to the property line. I'm assuming they knew that this was some kind of a wetland line.
Like the bank.
Well, the bank is shown a little bit further away. This would be the bank, but maybe this other
Oh,
line
yeah,
in
they
here that
may
was the
have had-
floodplain.
They may have pulled that
maybe
up
it's
with
mean
something else.
annual high water.
Yeah, well, but when
But you can't
offset,
make it up. You don't know what it
yeah,
was.
this is a straight line in here, so you don't
So
have anything
you're-
that is straight.
You're asking if it's okay for you to say it's off the.
Well, no,
record plan.
I'm just pointing it out. I'm showing it as
That's it.
dashed. One of
Yep.
the things that you guys had was that one of the requirement for doing the plan to be recorded at the Registry of Deeds was that we were obligated to show the approved lines that the commission had in 2009. So yes, walks like a duck, squawks like a duck, but so as long as everyone is on the same page here, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay,
So,
I think you got the gist of it. I mean, and I also think the conservation restriction is the most important part. That house and all that property is within the 200-foot river front of Rosemary Brook. So,
Do we want to get to the plantings now?
right, are we done with this conversation? This plan?
yeah, so one thing that I would like the commission for would be, because the owner that we are working for, he's already sold it and he has moved to another state. Is it possible that the commission would consider giving a partial approval?
Well, I think, so we've had a long conversation about this plan, but I
Yes.
understand, which is, I think we've got pretty far. We gave you a lot of good direction, but there's a
Yep.
problem with the plants. And we
Yes.
really care about the restoration area and the
Yes.
mitigation that was supposed to happen all this time, and they're really not there. So that's, I think, that's our concern. I think you got a good
Understood.
direction. You got to get this plan recorded, but Allison, you had something else to add?
The question was way back, like half an hour ago.
Oh, you have a terrible connection for some reason.
Dry wells, it was way back half an hour ago. And you were saying, well, we assume that they work, and we can't find them. But my question is, do the downspouts and the gutters work? Does the rain go away into the ground and not bubble up? And that's how you can tell if it works or not.
Yeah,
Right, I was
according,
wondering about that.
Overflow over the gutters and not work. Has anyone ever noticed?
according to the owner, The gutters are working beautifully. He never had any problems
All
since
right,
he has
so
moved
then
to
the
the
dry
house for
wells
10
are there
years.
and are working. Unless
So
they're,
right,
and
the
they're not,
dry wells are probably
they're not-
there and they're working.
and they go right into the ground, disappear. They're
correct.
not, okay,
That's
then
correct.
they're working. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
So I think that that's fair to imagine that the dry wells are there and they're going to, but the plants are still not there that are supposed to be there.
We have
And
the
that,
planting plan? We have the
So-
planting
Yeah.
plan? on it?
So Mary Trudeau is the original wetland specialist that worked on the site. She
Yep.
gave a report stating that, in her opinion, the area was back to normal conditions or was revegetated, was nature
Yeah.
had done its thing, for lack of
yeah,
better
I,
words.
yeah, sorry, Artie, so, yeah, I heard that already, but Deb has been out there and is not in agreement with that. So
Yeah, I
therefore,
met with her.
we are
Yes.
not in agreement with that.
Understood.
So that's, I think, becomes like the topic to work with now.
So, it's based on the meeting that we had with Deb. It appears that some of the stuff that Mary Trudeau had marked were inside the wetlands. Because is there a possibility that the commission would consider that if we have the owner provide a written contract for a landscaping company that they're going to do the installation for the based on the planting plan with a 2-year warranty?
Why does
would that
this
be
have to happen immediately?
It doesn't have to happen immediately. It's just that there is new people that have moved into the house.
Right.
And because the guy lives now, I believe, in Denver, rather than have him on the hook for another 2 years, trying to get him out of the picture, that's all we're trying to say.
Have they closed on the property?
They have closed, the new people have moved in, and they're very happy, apparently.
So why aren't we working with the new people?
Oh, I believe the new people understand the work that we are doing. So when the warranty is going to be given, it's not going to be given to the old person. The warranty is going to be given to the new people. But what I'm saying is leave the order of conditions open for another 2 years. Just give us parcel for only the house and everything else, and leave so one scenario would be issue a partial certificate of compliance because the building, the driveway, trees and everything else is done. The fence has been put in. The restriction is recorded at the registry of deeds. The documents have been approved by commission. So you can give a partial certificate, or you can give him a full full compliance with
Well, we're not
a
going to give them a
letter.
full compliance. We're not, we're not
Understood.
going to give them
Okay.
a full compliance.
Okay,
So, okay, Artie, I need you to stop talking for a few minutes
okay.
because you're making me tired.
Okay.
So,
I got a headache.
commission, who has an opinion? Deb, do you want to share any of your information, or do you want the commission to go around?
I can just give a brief overview if you would like.
That's fine.
So the restoration area is like 3,000 square feet. There was supposed to be 3 white pine and then 84 shrubs planted in the area. So this was supposed to happen 12 years ago. We didn't obviously get any monitoring reports until now that they wanted to close out. So when Clay, you have a couple pictures, I think, maybe that I sent you. I don't know how Mary could think that basically she thought that they met the 76%. So in that area is where the 84 shrubs and 3 trees are supposed to be planted. I don't know if you can see in this picture, maybe another one, Clay. So you can kind of see a little flag on that little twig on the bottom. Yeah, right there. So
Mhm.
she's counting things like that towards the restoration. And
That was
she's,
done
she's
9 years
claiming,
ago. I mean, it
so,
should have been
so she was
full at
claiming
this point.
that whatever was planted there died, but then the root ball sent up new shoots. So she was counting those as part of the restoration plantings. And then you can go to the next one. And then this is wetland. So you can see she's marked things inside the wetland and counted those towards this restoration.
So wait,
Um,
quick question on this, Deb.
Yeah,
Now, the idea over the past 9 years is this was a restoration and would have become wetland. But this was the original wetland line.
no, so the original wetland line is up gradient from here. She was just taking credit for
Oh,
some
okay,
reason
okay.
for these natural plantings within the
Okay.
wetland and
Okay.
saying, oh, they must have changed species and planted some high bush blueberry,
Okay.
you know, kind of thing. So I don't,
So
I
we're
don't,
in the original, we are now, we're in the middle of the original wetland.
right.
That's correct. Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
so she either marked things that were dead or in the wetland or were regenerated from ground. I don't know. So
We need the restoration area to actually be restored.
Restored.
yes, 84 shrubs, 3 trees are supposed to be in this area. So I think it's really starting from scratch.
Now,
there's
2
no
trees,
Where's
I
the
believe
pine?
2 trees they were put, am I correct?
Potentially,
three.
there may be 2 pine saplings. I'll give her credit for the pines, but so you can see
84.
the marker on there, it's on
Yep.
something that's dead. The one before, Clay. So that there's a marker on that, and that is obviously in the wetlands because that's royal fern that only grows in wetlands. So I don't know. I don't know what the mentality was on this, but and I offered if she wants to meet me out there and point out things that I'm not seeing. But she has counted 69 living native plants, she says.
Well, did you see 84 flags? I don't see it in these photographs.
No, there definitely wasn't 84 flags, and a lot of them were on the ground on those little dead little twigs or in the wetland. So I don't know. I guess she was there in June. I don't know.
So we need this to be restored.
Yep.
It is now October 27th. Is it too late this season to plant
I think
this stuff?
so. I think they'll have trouble finding stuff at this point too.
Okay, so as the request was made, can we give them a partial, except that I'm anxious about a partial because a partial to me says that it's all ready and we're just watching it grow for 2 years, but this hasn't even been really planted.
I don't understand what good a partial would do for them at this point.
Yeah, I
They
agree,
already
because
sold the house.
they haven't,
Well-
they've already closed,
Yeah.
right? Usually it's to close.
The only good thing that would happen is that, as you can imagine, you got the attorneys on both sides. So as long as they get confirmation that the building is, you don't have a problem with the building, you don't have a problem with the location of everything else. However, no certificate of compliance will be issued until 84 shrubs have been planted and 2 years of monitoring has been done. Then that's what they're going to have to go by. It's just that
You
it
know,
gives
I
more
don't
peace of.
think I'm comfortable with the partial at this moment.
Okay.
I don't know, if anybody else wants to give an opinion and say.
I agree. I'm not consistent with what we've done in the past. I also don't understand why the order of conditions wasn't closed before the closure of the sale. I don't understand why all of a sudden.
They didn't find, so the attorneys for the buyer found out about this open order of conditions like 10 days before the closing. The owner put money on an escrow account in order so that they could do the closing. And the two parties agreed that the new people who are going to be buying the property, they understood that there is an order of conditions open. We were doing the work to come in front of you guys and ask permission for closing the order of conditions. The homeowner relied on the letter provided by Mary Trudeau that the site had been revegetated, and he thought that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah,
And I know you tried to start to go too. I forget about that, but we didn't have the quorum. Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's not consistent with what we've done in the past. I would disagree with giving any partial.
Okay.
anybody else?
What
Peter
about,
or Dave? Hold on, Artie. Peter, any comment?
No.
You weren't charged for that, no. I hope you're reading the order of conditions for something else.
Janet, I got another question.
Okay, Dave.
Not about the restoration. I agree that about the restoration, but about the restriction. Do we need to get an attorney to look at the language there, or is it, as long as we agree with the map, is it good to go?
No, we're gonna pass it on to town council.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's something that we,
Right, we need the town council to
Yeah.
review that.
So does that need to be revised, Artie, based on the changes that they made?
I'll make the change on the plan and I'll pass it along to the attorney, make sure that they upgrade their documents so everything is
Okay.
clear. The other thing would be if the commission is not comfortable for a partial now, would it be possible that once they have done the planting, would you consider then issuing a partial at that time after they have planted at 84
Yeah.
new shrubs?
We have done that in the past, is
Okay.
given a partial and waited for the 2 years before we give a final.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just that they haven't even planted anything. And so why bother coming back to us? You know, it's like,
Understood. Understood.
Allison, do you have anything to add?
No, I just agree. But I don't think you're gonna plant them this year. You might.
No, they'll probably not plant until the spring.
Yep.
But then you can come back to us in the spring, and by that point, your conservation restriction should have been all worked itself out.
Yep.
That can be filed, and then you'll have that too. So now, because there's two kind of big things outstanding.
Of course.
So clear all that up, plant all
Yep.
those plants, then come back to us and we'll be ready.
Okay.
Because all
Would
those
that-
other little things, I don't think were a big deal.
You are fine with the other stuff. Okay, perfect. Okay.
Any other conversation about this topic?
I have a general question.
Sure.
Yes.
If the original owners had filed the order of conditions like they were supposed to, then this would have been caught ahead of time, right?
Oh,
So-
yeah,
Well,
it would have been cut
that-
9 years ago.
Yeah, so is there, I don't completely understand the mechanism of, following through to make sure that the order is filed.
Well, the order of conditions is already filed at the Registry of Deeds. And what typically happens is that the homeowner, they can move into the property, into the house, because they are able to get an occupancy permit without the order of conditions being closed. Usually the order of conditions gets closed maybe 6 months or a year after people have moved in. Most of the time, once a builder builds a house on a spec, they try to find a buyer as soon as possible. The buyer comes in last minute to get the building department to give the occupancy permit. They still have to do the lawn and the planting and what's not. And what happens is that the builder gets his money, walks away. The homeowner lives on the house for 10 years, forgetting about having to close the order of conditions, put the house on the market. Realtors, I would assume that they would have checked with the building department and they saw that they have the the occupancy permit. They maybe didn't think about coming to conservation to see if there was any open order of conditions, or they did not run what open order of conditions exist for this property. And next thing you know, the buyers, when they do the due diligence, their attorneys, before they buy, they run the title. And when they run the title, shows up that there is an outstanding order of conditions. So now it becomes an emergency because everything is lined up to have the closing, and they find out 5 days before, or 10 days before, then oops, we got a problem. And my experience has been the way out for the attorneys is that, oh, no big deal. Let's put $5,000 or $50,000 in an escrow account and, still do transaction of buying the property. We had a project in Dover. They put $300,000 in an escrow account.
Oh, 300,000.
300,000, yes. The guy withheld $300,000 until until the owner, the prior owner, got the order of the certificate of compliance from Conservation Commission.
I'm
So I
assuming
don't
that
know
we don't have that same amount of funds.
I
here.
don't think that we have that cloud, but I do believe that they put money on an escrow account. The owner believed that it's all wrapped up. So I did call after I met with Deb at the site, because Deb was pointing out that she wasn't happy. I contacted the homeowner. I informed him that if he wanted to have Mary Trudeau contact Deb, but apparently, as of this morning, Mary said that she wasn't available to meet Deb on the site right away, but she believed that the site was fully restored.
Did she say that?
I didn't
Okay.
hear that, but that's what the homeowner told me, yes.
Wow, rose-colored glasses, I guess.
So, okay, so
Send her the
That's okay. I mean,
photograph.
that's an explanation. So it's not that the order of condition wasn't recorded. It is that, when the owner decided to put the house on the market, he didn't hire an attorney to run the title. Usually it's the buyer who hires an attorney to run the title. You see what I'm
So you
saying?
weren't wondering about why they didn't close out the order of conditions back then? You were wondering about the order?
you were really wondering about the certificate of compliance that they were supposed to, which is.
Yes,
Yeah,
so-
which they should have done.
Which they should have
10 years
done
ago.
2 years.
Well,
and they didn't.
typically, when you close the property, if you have an attorney with you and the attorney says, well, you got an open order of conditions, you're gonna put $10,000 in an escrow until he closes the order of condition, then the builder has an incentive to close the order of conditions.
Mm.
But if the attorney did not put any money on an escrow account, then,
Mm.
So we
it's-
frequently have, Dave, we frequently have people come to Deb and Clay and say, I'm looking to buy this property. Is there anything going on? And they look up and say, oh, yeah, we have an open order of conditions.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I understand.
Yeah,
But I know there was some cases where people never filed the order of conditions. And so the only way you could find out is if you went to the Conservation Commission.
right,
Well,
right.
no, the protection that we have now, Dave, is that Deb does not let the new construction to start until she has proved that the order of conditions has been recorded and a DEP sign has put on the site. So
Mhm.
for new cases that come in, Deb makes sure that everything is recorded.
Right.
That's one, because without that order of condition gets recorded, you don't move on to the next step. But it's left to the homeowner
To close it out.
to close it out and ask for the certificate of compliance.
Right, got it. Well,
And
thanks.
this happens more often than what you would think,
Yeah.
It happens all the time. You'll hear it again. All right, I'm getting tired. Are you done, Artie? Because we'd
All
like
set.
to.
Thank you. Yep.
All right,
Thank
thank you. So we have one more thing on our agenda.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Good luck. 167 Nahoyden Street, there's a pool removal discussion. And is there anybody here to talk about it, or we're just talking about it ourselves?
There's nobody here. I did speak to them earlier and it sounded like they weren't going to be able to make it tonight, but I can give a very brief overview.
Excellent.
They're preparing to file what's called an abbreviated notice of intent application, because this is a relatively minor project that's going to presumably result in a better outcome for the property. So 167 Nahoyden Street has this existing pool in the back. abuts Rosemary Brook, which is a perennial stream. They're proposing to remove this pool, which is currently a concrete pool and patio, and return it to pervious surface. For this half of the pool, they're going to be extending this existing garden here. For the rest of the pool, they're going to be establishing a native pollinator garden back there. In this case, they're filing the notice of intent because they are within the 25-foot no disturbance zone. They don't meet the minor exemptions, even though they're returning impervious to pervious. However, the provisions of an abbreviated notice of intent allows for an application to be submitted at the discretion of the commission without stamped and surveyed plans. In this case, we do have the GIS mapping. They have previous lot line maps, and this area in the 13 feet between the edge of the pool and the stream is primarily existing lawn. This is also the area right through here that DPW has come in to restore the bank and has torn up this area in the past. So the applicant is just trying to get an idea from the commission if they will entertain that abbreviated notice of intent without going through the expense of a multi-$1,000 surveyed plan for something that is just going to be returned. They're not expanding lawn in any way. They're just expanding the garden and establishing a pollinator garden adjacent to that.
So in my personal opinion on this is that as long as they can really provide a strong erosion control along the bank of the river, and they're not changing any of the grades between the pool and the river, that they can take that pool out without providing us with full surveyed plans. But I'm happy to hear other people's opinions on this. Peter, you have any thought on whether they need because that's really the question at hand, right? Clay, is do they need a whole site plan surveyed?
Correct, and they will go
contours
through
and
the
everything.
hearing process, and this will result in an order of conditions that gets recorded, just like other notice of intents. The only thing that they need tonight is to know if they can move forward with this without the plans, or if the lack of plans is going to delay them, until January or beyond.
Yeah, I can't see a reason why you need a plan.
Allison?
I tend to agree. I'm just wondering, if it's only 13 feet and they're going to do gardens, that if it's a pollinator garden, it seems like where the pool is going to be, that it would be mostly native plants because it's still within the 25. So that would be the only thing, but I don't know how you condition that.
So that can certainly go into the order of conditions. This will have the same level of review as a normal notice of intent.
Okay, then I have no issue. I mean, I agree with what Janet said.
Dave, you have any thoughts on a full surveyed plan?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's necessary. They could provide a sketch of what they're proposing for the erosion control, just so the contractor knows what he's supposed to do.
And you might want to, how are they gonna access back there? You might want to have erosion control all the way down. If they're
All the
gonna
way
be
along the river.
accessing on that side of the house.
Mhm. Yeah, they really need
they'll
to
be-
protect the entire river edge of the bank.
Yeah, because I assume that they're gonna be trucking out concrete. I don't think they're allowed to bury it, so
Yeah, they could.
just a thought.
They could
Yeah.
do that. They could do that with a sketch rather than a surveyed plan, in my opinion.
Yeah, just as far as where the erosion control, where we want that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would want it as far away from the river that they can put it, but
Mhm.
I also think that, they need to really, there's only 13 feet, so they can't get too far away. On one edge, on the 13 edge, but like as they go up the side, if they can be further away, great.
Mhm.
They don't need to, I wouldn't, they don't need to put it right along the riverbank because
Right.
they're
You know
probably
what I
gonna
mean,
want to
just
have
to
a.
kind of
great-
define where the machinery is allowed to go and stuff.
Yeah, but they can show us that on a simpler sketch. They don't have to have a full surveyed plan to do that.
Right.
Sue, you have anything to add?
I'm fine.
Great.
Perfect.
Now, I've just realized that Steve is not here and I thought he was going to be here. Did he?
He did say he was gonna be here.
Yeah, he told me yesterday, like, I mean, sometime this week I talked to him.
Oh, you did?
I did, and he said he was gonna be here. I
Yeah,
forget when it was, this week though.
yeah.
Oh, well, anyway, all right, so we're done with that discussion?
Yes,
I
thank you.
think so.
All right, anything else?
So we have the exhibits.
Oh, God.
And then one other thing, did you guys see the email I forwarded you from Kate? Anyone? Peter?
About,
So she, at its meeting this week, the select board created an active recreation area working group. And the board is asking that the Conservation Commission designate a member or other representative to work with the group. And then there was an attachment to it that kind of described what the purpose of it is. It's an advisory capacity to guide the town in space planning for the future of active recreational opportunities in Needham. So they want one of you to volunteer.
to be on an active recreation area thing?
Yep.
We don't like active recreation, we like passive.
Mm-hmm. So
Does
it
it have-
will,
Does it have to be somebody from the Conservation Commission?
yep.
Or could it
So-
be somebody we nominate?
What?
I think Steve can be on it.
Oh, there you go. Get Steve. That'll be
He
good.
can come. We'll tell Steve he has to do it.
Yeah, they have 2 from select board, 2 from park and rec, 1 from Concom, school committee, finance, CPC. And the group will evaluate existing town-owned assets, identify assets for potential future acquisition, identify unmet needs for active recreation, and review space requirements for each.
I think we have to, I'm not seeing anybody jumping up and down about this.
No, wait,
Um,
my question is, can the Conservation Commission nominate somebody that's not on the Conservation Commission?
Let's see. 1 current Conservation Commission member
Oh, okay.
So,
or designated representative.
Oh,
or designated representative, all right,
Do not pick us. We are way too busy.
yeah.
We're
So
in
we
enough
can-
working groups.
Well, we can think about it a little bit long, I mean, we don't have to decide this today, right?
No.
Well, so Steve's not here and he might be interested, and we will be interviewing a new, potential commission member who has wetland experience. I looked at like her general experience and it sounded great. So, but she doesn't get interviewed until like the end of November. So hopefully early December, if she passes the interview, which I'm like, do we have to interview her? Can we just bring her on? I was told we have to interview her. So hopefully maybe come December, she'll be interested in doing something like that. You know, when you
I
first
think I
start.
need to
there's
let,
no-
I think it's more immediate
Oh,
than
we don't
that.
have anybody yet,
Okay.
so we'll have to wait.
All righty. I will let her know,
Say, we're so sorry, but we're tired.
but no one wants to join.
No,
Okay.
we only like passive recreation. But we
That's
do
right.
need, somebody does need to be there, just because then before you know it, they're taking all our passive recreation and making it active recreation. So we do need to be paying attention.
So we need like a watchdog.
We do need to watch that. We'll have to figure out how that goes. All right, and.
Okay.
you
And
have
then
something
just
else?
the exhibit.
Oh, the exhibit.
You're
Peter,
gonna
did
ask
you read
Peter
it?
if he read it, right?
Yeah, I read it.
You like
All
it?
right.
I liked it. There are a lot of special conditions though, so and some added, yeah.
Yeah, I have a few things to add. So I need to add the waiver language because I literally didn't get the request till 5 o'clock, and that's only because I begged for it.
So
So
what do we think about that waiver request?
it's only for plantings in the 25 foot.
What do we think about that waiver? Yeah, planting, but they're building a ginormous house right up against the edge.
Well, the purpose of that fee is because that close to the wetland requires more staff oversight.
Yeah, it seems like this one in particular, it's not like they're just putting a rain garden in.
Well,
They're
they're just
doing a
putting
lot.
plants in.
How
Do
much is,
you have more oversight for those plants?
Probably not $1,000 worth of oversight.
Fine. Do anybody have an opinion? Or anybody want to have a motion about this filing, this waiver fee or waiver? First, we have to grant them the waiver because we want them to work. So first we have to say,
Well, you're not there yet. You
Oh, we're
still
not
got
there
it.
yet.
So I'm adding. All right, so what are we requiring that he give us before I can issue?
we're
this?
requiring a planting plan or a plan that shows where the existing trees are so that the
Yeah.
new plants can be placed appropriately.
Yeah, that's really necessary. We need the patio
Forest
details.
paver patio with a detail.
They need the, so the real, soil evaluation.
Yeah, that will be part of the conditions, right?
Yeah, with a detail. And we're holding for the plan and they're gonna add the boulder in the middle.
And they're gonna change the detail of the Cultec chamber. It's too big.
Yep, I actually have that down too. Okay, so then just the other highlighted stuff on this. Oh, I didn't print mine in color. Well, that's a problem. All right, so I already had in here that they needed the soil test pit. I had added that after I talked to you, Janet. Then I put
Oh, okay,
in
it's
the,
gonna be,
oh, good. Then I put in the plantings, the 2-year monitoring. Notification that when they've done the plantings. And I said that I wanted 3 permanent markers for the 25 foot. Because if
Yep.
you just put them on the property lines, like in the
Yep.
shrubs, what
Yep.
does that do?
he's gonna bring
Um,
a boulder and he's gonna stick a boulder in there.
That's right. Yeah, and then just the usual monitoring stuff. They need an O&M plan.
Signed
So
by the
those-
property owner.
Hmm?
Do we say that the O&M plan needs to be signed by the property owner? Yes.
Yep.
Signed by yep, good.
So I'll add all of those things in there. I'll add the waiver language. That's
I wish
all.
we could get these certificate of compliances faster.
Well, we can say that we'll issue fines. We can word it that within a certain time period that they need to file. I mean, a lot of
I think
towns
they're
do that.
supposed to. They're supposed to. I mean, I think it even says it in the Wetlands Protection Act.
It
That
does,
they have
yeah.
a certain number of days, but still.
And there's all
just-
kinds of things towns have that the next owner needs to sign off, you know, that they understand their property and the requirements. There's all kinds of things that we can add to strengthen it,
Yeah.
especially like the 1-year monitoring. We never get that,
I know.
you know, not till people want to close it out and then all of a sudden this monitoring report shows up.
Yeah. All right.
So
So-
anyways, you can vote to issue. Well, you need to vote for the waiver, right? Waivers,
Well,
waive the waiver.
Okay, so
fee.
we vote for the waiver first before we vote to anything else. So first, we need a motion to waive the work within the 25-foot no disturb zone for
Possible.
311 Dedham Avenue, DP file number 234892.
So moved.
I second.
Great, thank you all. Oh, so all in favor, Allison, Dave,
Aye.
Sue. Sue,
She mouthed it.
she mouthed it. Can you
Yeah,
give the thumbs
yeah.
up or something?
Okay.
Peter,
Aye.
yeah, aye. Okay.
Waive the
So we
waiver
did that.
fee.
Now we have to waive the fee, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we think? Are we waiving this fee? That somehow, for whatever reason, I'm annoyed, but Peter's nodding. Okay.
What's the rationale for waiving the fee?
We are waiving the fee because when they're doing plantings within the 25-foot no disturb zone, we typically waive the fee.
If that's the only work they're doing, since it's an improvement.
It's an improvement in
we-
the area. If they were like wanting to put a shed back there, we wouldn't waive the fee. Okay, so can I have a motion to waive the fee for the work within the 25-foot no disturb zone for 311 Dedham Avenue?
I move we waive the fee.
Second.
All in favor, Allison,
Aye.
Sue, Dave,
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Yeah, aye. Okay, now we have a order of conditions that has been amended slightly and reviewed. Has everybody reviewed it? Well, I had it up on the screen. Thank you very much. All in, so we need a motion to issue the order of conditions as amended.
We're holding it until we get the,
The plan changed, yeah,
yeah.
the revised plan. For 311 Dedham Avenue.
So move.
Thank you, Dave. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, Allison,
Aye.
Sue. Dave,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
and I. Great, did we do it? Anything else?
No, so we only have one meeting in November. What is it, the 17th or something?
The 17th of November, yes, we have one
Yeah.
meeting.
So Peter Pingatori from CPC has asked for some time. I think I forwarded it to you, Janet. I think asking if I should forward it to everybody.
What did I say?
I don't think you responded to me.
When did you do this? Just, I
Huh?
think, yes, forward it to everybody. Sounds like a great idea.
Okay, I'll forward that to everybody, but there's like some attachments to it and stuff. So
They're-
easy
they're-
reading.
They're amending the plan. And they want input from the Conservation Commission.
Oh, okay. See, he's in the
Uh-huh.
know because he's our representative.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're our guy. Good.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
enjoying it so
I
far?
sat through a 3-hour meeting, yeah.
Oh, good. All right.
Okay. Good.
Oh,
Okay,
what,
well,
so we also had our first Trails Committee meeting.
oh,
Our
nice.
kickoff last week, I think, that Peter and Dave are both part of. So
Excellent.
that's an exciting thing. Just wanted to share that.
Were there lots of people that are going to be walking the trails again?
Well, we're putting the committee together first, and then we're going to reach out to stewards. But we do already have interest from people, and we have ideas of how to get more people. Unfortunately, Fabian, who's the assistant park and recs director, who we've been working with, is now moving to Pennsylvania.
Oh, bummer.
So it is a bummer that we're gonna lose him, but no, I mean, Peter and Dave are both very knowledgeable about this, so we'll be
Great.
leaning on them. It'll be good.
Well, one of the things I would like to do we still have some of the discs for the Ridge Hill trails? The circles?
I might in my
Potentially.
garage.
Oh, you might? I would like to get more of those up on the Charles River Trail across from Ridge Hill. Because while we were walking it with everybody.
You were
nobody
losing
could-
people? You were losing
Nobody
people?
could find it. And then they were like, well, it's not marked correctly. I'm like, well, it was marked once because I know I marked it, but so if we have any markers, I would be happy to go out. I thought maybe I would ask Clay to join me for a stroll through that, and because he's taller than I am and could probably get those
Ah.
up in the trees.
Do you
There you
remember do you remember what color they are?
I think they were brown, but they definitely say Ridge Hill.
They
So I
might have
think
them at Park and Rec too. They have a
That is the
storehouse and
important
stuff.
piece, is
Does
that
it-
they say Ridge Hill on them.
Does the public have permission to walk on some of that property that's gonna be acquired? I thought they did.
I don't know. I'm not sure actually, because it's not acquired yet.
I know, but
Um,
like, what's his name, Dr. Kettle? Keeps it
Yeah.
all mowed.
Yeah, he's great.
I mean, he must be mowing it for some purpose, right? Not just for his own purpose.
I think he's mowing it for his own purpose. He and
Mhm.
Mr. Foster had taken care of it for all those years. Dr. Kettle spoke at the town meeting and it was great having him
Yeah, that
say
was.
that, how enthusiastic. Peter, did you watch it too?
No,
Um,
I've heard reports from other town meeting members that it was a very long debate.
2.5
and-
hours.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
Very,
and,
very
But-
long.
You
and
but
won,
Dr.
Simon.
Kettle was great.
you won, right?
So, but yeah, so I don't know, I'll find out if we have permission, but I kind of think that we don't yet. It's kind of like going into a house that you bought, but you haven't closed yet. But there are the trails, the other trails we can.
And apparently you can pretend to be lost. So you could probably go just about anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I walked out there.
Not through people's backyards, please. So, yeah.
I walked
That's
out,
it.
I walked out there, but I got lost on marked trails.
I know, so we have to mark them. We definitely will need one of those trails at the end where the meadow, when you walk back, it's easy to
Right.
walk from the woods to the meadow, but it's hard to walk from the meadow to the woods. So we need something right there.
Can
So
you
it's
see the forest through
clear.
the trees?
This is where the trail is, so you can get back to Charles River Street
Yep.
through the trails.
All right, well, we'll,
All right.
sure you look. If you can't find them, then I'll ask Park and Rec. They might have some.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Alrighty.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I moved, we adjourned.
Second,
All in favor? Allison? Sue? Peter? Dave?
aye.
I,
Aye. And see everybody on November 17th.
Awesome.
One meeting, so that will probably be a long meeting because it's the only one we have. Like
Yeah,
this was really the only meeting we had in October, except that we met for half an hour.
yeah. We'll
All right.
see.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye,
bye.
everyone. Sorry so late. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.